Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and talk with you in the next few minutes about shared mobility in a post-corona era or in a corona era. In the next few minutes, I'll talk to you about the impact that COVID-19 has on mobility, about En route, the startup I co-founded here in Israel, and how we can do business if that's something which is relevant for you. So first of all, it's a pleasure. I'm Aviv Frankel. I'm the co-founder and CEO of En route. En route is a tech startup which is based in the heart of Startup Nation, in the heart of Tel Aviv, Israel. We're a team of very well experienced tech and media professionals. I myself come from media. I have an experience of more than 20 years in national TV and radio in Israel. My last position was senior tech and automotive correspondent for Channel 10 in Israel, which is one of the two biggest national TV channels, where I was co-creator of TV formats, a TV presenter, and a journalist. Let's talk about mobility in a post-COVID era. What was the impact? First of all, we saw a dramatic decline in ridership and service, sometimes even 90% decline. Second of all, employee layoffs across the board in mass transit, in ride hailing, in all of the ecosystem. And there's also an increased sanitary measures that needed to be implemented in various places. This has a lot of effect on our industry because we need to regain trust and social distancing, regain trust and demand by providing medically safe rides. Commuters will potentially be on their phones as they're likely to want to speak, don't want to speak to strangers for fear of catching the virus. And also, it's a potential for new digital experience, and that could intrigue the commuters. So this is a potential to prevent overcrowding during peak commute times. That's how data and connectivity can help us reduce hygienic problems of public transport and also improve the overall experience. And for the experience, that's where we come in. So we want to increase the value of public and private partnerships, and that's exactly what we're building. So we started our company with this idea, with this vision, with this future of self-driving cars. The fact that in a few years people will get into the car, say the address, and the car will start driving by itself. And for the next 20, 30, 40 minutes, people will be captive audience in mobility because the self-driving car revolution will create a new currency. And this currency is free time, right? Morgan Stanley forecast that this time stands for 600 billion hours free for people to do lots of things. But we argue that already today, millions and millions of people are using self-driving cars that look like this. Because when you take a train, a bus, a taxi, or a ride-hailing car, you are already in a self-driving car with a driver. You have free time, you're captive audience, and the potential is huge. Because what do people do when they have free time and they're in mobility? Well, they shop. Apparently in the UK, 20% of all online shopping occurs every morning between 7 and 9 a.m. when people take a train, a bus, a taxi, or a ride-hailing car. That's more than $28 billion each year, only in the UK, only between 7 and 9 a.m., only in mobility, and the numbers are staggering. And this is what we're bringing. We have developed an SDK. It's a personalized interaction platform that enables mobility companies and passengers to shape the new paradigm of modern travel. So one thing we do with our SDK is to understand what is the context of the ride, where do people travel, when do they travel, with whom, and on the other hand, we're studying people over time to give them more than getting them from point A to point B, because this is something that our mobility partners do very well. And if we have this equation and we add businesses, we can do something a bit crazy, and that is allowing people to ride for free. So how do they ride for free? Well, they actually shop Okay, from a variety of hundreds of retailers we have on our partner network. They can earn points or miles or get cashback and ultimately ride for free. So this is the shopping platform. This is how it looks like. Imagine a ride start, and through the mobility app people are using to order the ride or to pay the ride. They get a notification. Listen, you have 20 minutes until you arrive. Why don't you use your free time? And with every product you buy, with a variety of hundreds of retailers, you decrease the amount you have to pay on your next ride until you get a free ride. We are using ranking and personalization. There's lots of heavy lifting in terms of technology and product to make it as seamless as possible and as personalized as possible. We're using extremely smart algorithms to segmentize products and shops, to clusterize the users, and to connect people to the context of the ride. Because the next thing that we will be launching is also connecting people to locations. Like, let's take this gentleman, he's traveling back home, he wants to buy a cake for his kids. So we're building our product to be able to tap into inventory systems in real time in locations along the route or next to the destination for this gentleman to click and collect. And actually, this is an even more sustainable way to shop, because when people click and collect, they don't take a special ride to a shop. They don't ask for a delivery if they're ordering something online, and they usually do not return stuff. I don't know if you know, but in online shopping, around 30% of whatever people are buying, they return. And that's something which is very painful for these actors, the retailers. And we have hundreds of retailers on our platform, companies such as Nike and eBay and ASOS and Best Buy and many, many more. And the way it works is that we have direct deals or deals with affiliate networks. And for every purchase passengers are making on our platform, we get a commission from the retailer, and that is converted into free rides. So, mobility companies today need to diversify their revenue streams because revenues are down, ridership is down. Third-party services will play a key role in reshaping mobility, and we're connecting mobility companies and retailers or other third-party services, and users earn ride credits through in-app purchases, and that can increase ridership. So how can we help solve COVID's repercussions? First of all, our unique transport experience can increase ridership because we increase the stickiness effect to your service. Riders will also have more time to scroll through their phones due to social distancing. That's how it works. Riders can shop remotely, which reduces the risk of spread, and users can save money by eventually obtaining free rides. It's a gamified experience. So, a bit more than a year ago, we started working with our first mobility company. The first mobility company we are working with is Deutsche Bahn, the national rail company of Germany. We were part of leading mobility programs in Silicon Valley, in Europe, and in Asia. And we are launching now in the midst of COVID-19 in two new territories. First of all, in Singapore with Comfort Delgro. Comfort Delgro is one of the leading mobility companies in Singapore. They're a very popular taxi app. They also operate 60% of bus lines and 40% of metro lines. They're also very active throughout the APAC market and also in Europe. And as we speak, we already launched another very interesting collaboration in Madrid with Metro de Madrid, which is the biggest urban transportation company in Spain. Also, in collaboration with Banco Santander, which is one of the biggest banks in Europe. We also received a very prestigious grant from the European Union, the Horizon 2020 grant. This is basically because we can help make more sustainable shopping with our click and collect, and also help revive city centers. So I'll show you a short clip of our collaboration in Germany. Here it goes.
Next ride is on us. Thanks for shopping.
So this started as a very interesting pilot. Now we're expanding it. So what's in it for mobility companies? First of all, we can help create a new revenue stream, especially now when revenues are down. We can create this stickiness effect, enhance growth through loyalty. It's a new experience for users, and basically we can help also mobility companies know passengers better through valuable data. Imagine a train company that we can tell that in a certain line, passengers from a specific demographic like to buy sports gear. They can go with this data and let's say discuss with Nike or Adidas, why don't you advertise on our trains or open shops in the train stations that we own? So it's a very monetizable data, and this is another thing we're giving. Here is what Deutsche Bahn has to say about us.
I was asking myself, is that possible in only 3 months to put that great idea into action? Until the day before the launch, I was still asking me that question, and then on the day of the launch, it was so great that it worked.
You take a train ride. If you shop online, Urban Outfitters, ASOS,
Right.
you get the next ride for free.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah?
It is awesome.
Working with En route was very successful. We had a very promising idea that turned out to be feasible, and we got very interesting and positive customer feedback.
We had an amazing experience working with Deutsche Bahn. I mean, the level of professionalism on the side of Deutsche Bahn, either from DB Regio and from the DB Mindbox team, was amazing.
Well, if we could offer to our customers, and that is 7 million people a day, if we could offer to them ride and commute for free every day, that would be an extremely boosting slogan. And En route is showing us how this idea can be put into action.
Yeah. So why working with En route? First of all, the potential. We're at the forefront of modern shopping, and we'll tap into a new customer segment who has never had a shopping experience similar to ours. Second of all, we're customer oriented. Our platform is straightforward and user friendly, and we allow customers to benefit from our personalized platform. And who doesn't love shopping and obtaining free rides? And third, innovation. We help integrate shopping and transportation to allow customers to shop as they ride and simultaneously earn points. Our data platforms allow us to tailor our product selections to individual mobility companies and individual customers. So this is my address, aviv@enroute.tech. I'd love to be able to speak with you if you're a mobility company and you want to speak with us and increase revenues and increase growth, I'm here. So join the ride because we are already en route.
I would like to welcome you and thank you for your presence in the European e-commerce conference. My name is Maria Daradoumi and I'm the Sales Director of Kelko Group in Greece. I'm delighted to introduce Kelko Group even to those who have not heard of us and share with you our 20 years of experience and expertise. Today's presentation is about e-commerce and omnichannel trends and highlights. Let's start. So, I will share with you our valuable knowledge by analyzing the main topics of my presentation, which are how COVID impacted shopping behavior and new opportunities for retailers, Google Shopping Ads, the acquisitions channel not to be missed and to be taken care of, the other performing online acquisition channels, the solution to help retailers increase their online sales and visibility, and finally, who we are. Let's analyze together how COVID impacted shopping behaviors. As you can see, almost 90% of the customers were severely influenced by COVID-19. Almost 50% of consumers are making online purchases when they would usually shop in stores. An inflection point in online shopping occurs in mid-March 2020, followed by a higher sustained baseline. Unsurprisingly, search for essential food and cleaning product searches increased, while search for clothing, furniture, and luxury goods declines. Other key non-essential product searches spike. Consumers want information and want to know their favorite brand are reacting responsibly. Consumers are shopping online and plan to do even more online shopping as the situation continues. Let me share with you the search results. Interest in essential searches. Interest decreases in luxuries but at the same time increases in at-home activity. Sustained demand, brand loyalty impact, availability is the king, and sentiment results, consumer welcome messaging and consumers are shopping. What's quite significant and should be mentioned out is that the majority of the consumers will continue to follow the same behavior after COVID. Since March 2020, despite fluctuation in the pandemic and ongoing lockdown reopening cycles, the overall level of consumer impact has remained high, dipping below 80% only twice in the months of September and October 2020. If online consumer engagement may decline when COVID is over, we see that a good percentage of shoppers expect to maintain some of their online behaviors in the future. For retailers, online sales opportunities have increased tremendously in the past month and are currently maintained at a very high level. This is expected to be a sustainable trend, but the online sales opportunities peak is happening now. Don't wait to make the most out of it and take the opportunity to capture customer and develop your brand awareness now. Let's talk about Google Shopping Ads and acquisition channel, not to be missed and to be taken care of. We are talking about shopping ads, but what exactly shopping ads are? Shopping ads are ads that include rich product information, such as product image, price, and merchant name. They are created using data attributes from the product information you submit in your merchant search data feed and are shown to people who are already searching for the kinds of products you advertise. There are 4 basic types of Google Ads. Display advertising, which is also often referred to as banner advertising, is a type of advertising that is composed of small digital billboards or banners that are placed in and around blog posts, keyword search pages, websites, etc. Video advertising, mobile advertising, native advertising. Your text, image, and video ads can appear on the Google Display Network. The display network is a collection of websites including specific Google websites like Google Finance, Gmail, Blogger and YouTube that show ads. This network also includes mobile sites and apps. Let's go back quickly in the auction system, shall we? In order to advertise on Google Ads, you need to enter an auction. So let's consider three candidates, the highest bid wins, and if the user is clicking on your ad, you will get invoiced based on the second highest bid. Comparison shopping services can bid to place shopping ads on Google general search results pages on behalf of merchants they represent. Google Shopping bids on behalf of merchant it represents in the same way, acting like any other CSS. This means that as a merchant, you can choose to participate in shopping ads on the Google general search result page in various ways. You can provide your product data to any CSS, including Google Shopping, and you can also use multiple CSSs at the same time. CSSs use a separate Merchant Center account for each merchant they represent. Each account allows them to upload an inventory for a merchant and run shopping campaigns on their behalf. All campaigns need to follow the same shopping ads policies and product data requirements. This means, for example, that shopping ads need to take users directly to a merchant's landing page where they can buy the advertised product. Shopping ads on Google General Search Results pages where the CSS program is available will also show which CSS uploaded the offer. The Buy CSS link displayed at the bottom of the ad. If users click on that link, they are taken to the CSS's own website. Let's take a quick look at how you can bypass Google's margin. Partnering with a Google CSS apart from Google's will enable you to bypass Google margins, benefiting from a minimum of 20% advantage on your shopping ad campaigns. As soon as you make the switch, your entire bidding history will be transferred within 48 hours. Here is the main aspect you need to focus on to optimize your campaigns. Strategy and account structure. You need to understand and clarify your objective and needs. It is mandatory to audit your account settings, relevancy on the following levels: gross margin, ad account and campaigns, restructuring your account. Around your KPIs can based on performance and ROAS, sales, clicks, margin, costs, categories, brands, and so many more. Campaign optimization. Campaign type identification, product fit optimization, competition analysis, bids definition and competitive advantage, geographical extension. Finally, ongoing and dedicated support is essential for your campaign. You need to achieve high standard individual support, troubleshooting, and performance reporting. Here is what we managed to achieve as an example so you get an idea of what is feasible. The impressions growth by 120%, the traffic increased by 97%, and the CPC reduced by 28%. If you want to remain competitive as an online retailer, partnering up with a CSS is a must for your shopping ad strategy. Choosing a professional trusted CSS partner can provide you with tactical benefits for your campaign and allow you to gain transparency and efficiency in your strategy. Retailers need guidance with strategies that will help them navigate changes occurring in the market. Shift ad spend to prioritize product categories that are in demand. Optimize and scale ad traffic across channels to capture new, unique customer segments. Lean in where possible in order to mitigate losses or even drive higher performance in the best cases. For years, the acquisition strategy had to do with one or two sources of traffic, but today the industry has changed and your traffic acquisition strategy has to move away from the traditional sources. There are a lot of services that provide visibility to new sources of traffic. There are so many affiliate programs available for you, such as price comparison sites, premium publishers network, Google Shopping ads, and non-offer native promotional links that increase visibility. A great way to increase your website traffic is by having an affiliate program. An affiliate program is an effective marketing tool that allows you to pay publishers, think bloggers, YouTubers, top-tier sites and more, whenever their visitor make a purchase on your site. Compared to sponsorship and paid advertising, affiliate marketing is low risk because affiliates drive traffic for free. You only pay them once you've been paid first in the form of online sales. The success of your affiliate marketing depends first on choosing the right affiliates, influencers for your specific market, and second on what commission you offer them. If you have competitors also using affiliate programs, you may have to at least match their offers or sweeten the deal some other way. Influencers are hot commodities, and other brands may also be asking for space on their websites. Let's talk about shopping comparison sites. As the name implies, the goal of price comparison sites is to allow online shoppers to compare the price of a given product to different sites. Whether shoppers are really looking for the lowest price available or just trying to find an item, a great many online shoppers check price comparison sites when searching, which makes them an important element to take into consideration when considering your marketing strategies. Why be present? While making your product or some of them available on price comparison site is important. This is because they are a source of highly qualified traffic. Almost all visitors to price comparison sites are actively looking for specific products with an intent to buy. The second reason you should post your product on price comparison sites is more technical. In general, these sites have work on their SEO, and it's rare that they aren't in the top results of a given search. This is then an indirect way for you to benefit from their visibility while waiting to get your site to the first page of Google. Through Publisher's monetization solution, you can receive traffic against your business targets and needs. Operating with the biggest retailers across multiple countries will help you increase your visibility and sales. Let's have a look on native integrated links. Here is how the solution can help you generate more sales on your online store. What is it and how can links assist you? Links will help you reach new shopping audiences through innovative ad formats and allows you to promote any of your website pages. You will be able to capture new customers and promote your events, categories, and any other page in addition to your products. What we can do for you and can help you ameliorate your performance. We have different levels of services to satisfy even the most demanding merchants. Level 1, we provide access to the bidding advantage, tech support and consultancy. Level 2, you benefit from consulting on strategy, account structure, campaign optimization, troubleshooting and dedicated support. Finally, level 3, you have access to full campaign management. How can we help you reach new and targeted shopping audiences? We can display your products on our shopping network, so you will receive qualified leads to your online shop who will convert into customers on your site. Our big network and our international presence do not only represent the status of our company, but it also shows how you, yourselves, your company, can grow and expand worldwide through our services and network. Last but not least, please allow me to share with you who we are. Kelco Group is an experienced shopping ad specialist company in 40 countries around the world. We are a B2B company where the customer is our core base. Kelco Group, through an innovative approach, can help your businesses to taste some of the figures that speak for themselves. We are big, we are strong, with an international presence in 40 countries. That's why more than 10,000 merchants trust us and our 22 years of experience. We generate 350 million clicks, 7 million sales, and 800 million revenue annually. Merchants love us because we can generate and share with them the numbers mentioned. Last but not least, what we can do for you. We can deliver incremental sales through Kelco Group Network. We can also improve your acquisitions campaign performances. In addition, we can diversify your lead acquisition channels. And finally, we can help you to expand your international visibility and sales. Thank you.
Hi everyone, this is Anastasiou, and I would like to welcome you to this presentation on how social media can increase your sales. So if you're really looking to find ways to increase your sales, then just pay close attention to this presentation. First of all, let me say a few things about me. Even though my friends are calling me Richard Gere, my name is Adonis Anastasiou. I'm the founder of Adonis Business Academy, and I have studied at California State University. Now, the most important thing that I have to mention here is that I have been training people, helping companies to promote their services or products through social media. And that's how I get the opportunity to realize how social media actually works and what can generate sales and what cannot generate sales. So everything that I'm teaching or everything that we're applying to our business or to our clients is based on actual research, is based on what we have tried so far and it worked. So it's not based on just theories and and stuff that we hear or we see on YouTube. It's based on actual actions that we took and generated results. But most of all, I like happy and smiling people. So if you just put a smile on your face, I'm sure you're going to enjoy more this presentation. So let's start with tip number one, which is in social media, you have to think and act different. Now, Steve Jobs, I remember Steve Jobs' presentation on how to brand Apple, and he said that people don't care about product features, they care about ideas, they care about values. That's how he came up with the idea of think different. Okay, and actually, this is a picture from that branded video of Apple that was, it was an attribute to the people who are thinking different, like Mahatma Gandhi, Albert Einstein, and many others. Okay, so I'm borrowing that think different from Steve Jobs, but I'm also adding think and act different. There is such a noise out there in social media. There are thousands, millions of posts and tweets and videos. So how do you get people's attention? By thinking and acting differently. That's why Lady Gaga show up in a meeting, in an award ceremony, wearing a meat on her face. So if you think and act different on social media, you're going to grab people's attention. Because if you don't grab people's attention, if they don't know about your product and services, then you're not going to make any sales. So you have to start thinking and act differently, okay? So don't just compete, competition best serves the needs of the society, not the needs of your business. So in order to stand out, you should always think, how can I be different? How can my brand be different by all other brands? What can we do in order to get people's attention? So don't just do the same, post that your competitors are doing. Do things in a different way. Do something unique. Do something different. That's how you're going to break the noise. Okay. So instead of just going and looking what your competitors are doing, just go and do something different, something out of the ordinary. Do something that people will get the opportunity to talk about. Now, one of the various types of posts out there are the entertaining posts, posts that make people laugh. So if you get a really good entertaining post, that's how you're going to get a chance your post to become viral. Usually, fun and entertaining posts can become viral. It's a little bit difficult, but if it's really good and it's related to your line of business, then you might get the chance to be viral. But not just only the fun and entertaining. It can be an engaging post where you ask questions, or it could be an educational post where you showcase, you explain to your potential customers, you give them valuable information. Those types of posts can get viral, and when it becomes viral, then you're going to get all that free exposure, and more people are going to know about your product, about your services, or even about your business. So start from today, and I want you to go down and drill and find ways to distinguish yourself from all the other competitors out there. So I want you to write down a few ideas that comes into your mind about thinking and acting differently. I'm sure you had some ideas in your mind about thinking and acting different, but you didn't apply them because you were skeptical that maybe this is something that your potential customers are not going to like. But just write it down and execute it. Do it. Here I want to share a little story with you. Maybe a few of them might know that story. It was about the Eiffel Tower in Paris. They were thinking to build the Eiffel Tower back in the 1800s, a few of the artists and a few of the architects says, "Oh, we don't want that building, that Eiffel Tower, to be built in Paris. It will be an abomination. It will turn away tourists. Nobody wants the Eiffel Tower. Why you're building it?" And they get all that bad criticism. But guess what? Eiffel Tower is standing tall, and it's there, and it's one of the most iconic monuments of the world, and it attracts so many tourists in Paris because they want to see the Eiffel Tower. So you have to be different. You have to act and think different on social media. So to get people's attention, and that's how they're going to know about your product and services, and then they can buy. Because if they don't know about your product or services, they're not going to buy. If they know about your product and services, at least you have a chance. Okay. So when you're going to start thinking and acting different on social media, of course, some haters are going to come and they're going to tell you, this is bullshit. What are you doing? You crossed the line or whatever. But guess what? Remember those critics of the Eiffel Tower and just move on with your strategy of thinking and acting differently. That's how Apple became Apple, because they think and act differently. Tip number 2, omnipresence. You have to be on all social media, or at as many social media as you can at all times. That's what omnipresent is all about. Omnipresent, it means you have to be in all social media at all times. That's how, again, as I said, you're gonna get your product and services out there. More and more people are gonna know about your services. So if you're using just Facebook, and Instagram, start posting on LinkedIn. If you're not making videos on YouTube, start making videos on YouTube. If you don't have a presence on Pinterest, start on Pinterest. Get an account on TikTok, and just get to as many social media as you can, because omnipresent will get of course, the attention of your potential customers, but it's gonna get you that maximization of exposure, and when you get that maximum exposure, that's when sales are going to start coming in. So omnipresent, that's my second tip. Now, my third tip is the market pyramid. We have to have in mind that only 0.5 to 3% are actually going of your potential customers are actually going to buy your product or service. So for example, if you're selling, let's say, um, furniture, okay, and your target market is like, let's say, your city, people from your city between the age 25 and over, okay, that's your target market. Now, if we had a magic wand and we can, communicate or contact all those people within your city, okay, only 0.5 to 3% are going to be interested and actively looking to buy furniture. That is why when you're making posts on social media, you don't get any sales. Because if you just put posts on Facebook and on Instagram and you don't reach your whole target market, sales are not going to come in because only 0.5 to 3% are actually looking and actively going to buy what you're selling. And it doesn't mean that 0.5 to 3% are going to buy from your store. They're just going to actively looking to buy a sofa, but they might buy the sofa from another furniture store. Okay, that's why you need omnipresent. That's why you have to get massive exposure because only 0.5 to 3% are buying now. In addition to that, there is a 7% of people within your target market that they are thinking about buying, the type of products that you're selling. So again, that's why you have to have massive exposure. So the people who are thinking about it and they might gonna come, they might going to actually buy it, what they're looking for after 3 months or 4 months. Then if they know about your product or service, you're gonna get them as well. At least you're gonna get a chance to sell to them as well. If you don't have a massive exposure, if you don't have omnipresence, if you're not different, if you don't get their attention, then most probably they're not going to buy from you because they don't know you. Okay. In addition to that, there is a 20%, the 20% of your target market, they don't think about it, but if they see a post in social media about your product or service, they might, read it or, they might take a look at it. Those are the people who might have a problem, they might have a wish to buy a new sofa, but their sofa is still okay, Something got their attention, they click on your ad or they see your video, but they're not there yet. They're not quite there to buy the product yet. They might buy after 6 months or even a year. That's why, again, you have to be out there at all times. Now, you have to remember this 70% of your target market, okay, no matter how good your advertisements are, no matter how good is your pricing policy, no matter how good is uh, your video, your advertisement, 70% they don't even care about your products because maybe they just bought, a sofa. So if you're a furniture store and you're selling sofas, if someone just bought a sofa, he's not interested to buy another sofa. That's why they're not interested. But those people are not interested at the moment. So if someone bought a sofa just now, he's not interested to buy another sofa, maybe for the next 4 to 5 years. Okay. So again, you have to make massive exposure, omnipresent, be out there, be different, but it's also really, really important to spend money on advertising. That's how you're going to reach the maximum exposure. If you're trying to make sales by, organic posts and you're not willing to invest in advertising, then just forget about maximizing sales. Now, can you even name a big company, a huge company, or a company that makes sales that don't spend money on advertising? I don't know anyone. Maybe you know, but it's only a few companies. Now, the companies that make the money are the companies that spend more money on advertising. So you have to spend money on advertising if you want to increase your sales. And of course, you have to measure the return on investment. So isolate how much money you're spending on Facebook, and then go and check out how many sales you get from Facebook. Isolate the money that you're spending on Instagram, and then isolate the sales that you're getting from Instagram. That's how you're going to find out where you should be continuing spending your money. So start investing money on advertising. Tip number 4. Now, we said you have to spend money on advertising, but you have to set your ads correctly. So stop boosting your posts on Facebook and Instagram. Go and set up your ads the correct way, which is the way you have to pay per click, okay, or pay per lead. Don't spend your money boosting your post, because as we saw from the market pyramid, 70% of the people who are watching your ads right now, if you just post an ad, they don't care about your product and services. So why spending money for the 70%, 20%, and 7%? Start spending money, start investing your ads on advertising, but pay per click. Because if you pay per click, everybody in your target market is going to see your ads, but you're only gonna pay when someone click on your ad. And someone to click on your ad, that means he has an interest. That's why the click-through rate, the percentage of people clicking on ads, it's only 0.5 to 3%, because those are the people who are actively looking to buy something. Of course, you might get some people from the 7%, but why spending your money boosting posts, getting, that, of course, you get exposure, but you don't get any traffic to your website, you don't get any leads. So set up your ads correctly and start spending money through PPC, pay per click, or pay per lead. And Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and Google Ads, all those platforms has a way to set them correctly. You have to do, of course, the right training. Okay. Now, here's an example where even Facebook is doing pay-per-click advertisement in Google. So if you search for Facebook ads, as you can see here, that's an advertisement of Facebook doing a pay-per-click advertisement in Google. So even Facebook is investing in Google paying per click. Okay. So if you want to spend money on Facebook, again, as we said, invest your money and set up your Facebook ads and your Instagram ads and pay per click, and don't just boost them, because if you boost your post, you're going to pay per impression, which means you're going to pay because people saw your advertisement, not necessarily interested to buy your product. Tip number 5, engage with your audience, which means you have to ask them questions. If they ask you questions, reply back to them. Put like 4 different types of products and ask them which one they like, best. Or put the same product, but with, 5 different colors and ask them which one, like best, which one is their favorite color for your product. So ask them questions. That's the major way to engage with your audience. So go and ask questions on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. But when they're gonna reply back to you, you have to acknowledge that. So you can ask them even more questions. Why do you like? Okay, if you put, let's say, your product with 5 colors, and someone says to you, and your question might be, okay, which one is your favorite color? Someone says, okay, I prefer this red sofa. Then you can go and ask, okay, which one is your second favorite one? So you keep the engagement, because social media, it's all about being social. Okay, so engage with your audience. That's how you're gonna get their attention. That's how they can recall your brand, and that's how you're gonna get more sales. Which gets me to tip number 6, If you want to increase your leads, you have to start giving gifts. But you don't just give gifts by, creating competition, like and share, and you're gonna get a competition. You tell them, if you want to get into a competition to win a sofa, okay, since we're talking about sofas, then you have to like and share the post, okay, but also you have to complete the form about, that the competition of winning a sofa. Okay, so if you give them gifts, always remember to give you in exchange their contact information, and that's how you're going to start building your lists. That's how you're going to start getting leads from social media. And there are three levels of gifts. Okay, now the first level is just what do I say? The first one, which is completely free, where they ask them to fill a form. You make a post on social media, you tell them, just go, have a great ebook on interior design. If you like it, just go to the following page, complete the form, and you're gonna automatically receive that free book on interior design. Okay. The second level is where we said free after competition, which means, we have a free sofa, we're giving a free sofa at the end of the month. If you want to be, participate in the draw, just click the link below. You're gonna take them to a specific form where they fill their contact information, and that's how they enter, the draw to win a sofa at the end of the month. That's the second level. And the third level of gifts you can give is like discount vouchers. So for example, if you buy the sofa, you're gonna get like 100 euros voucher where you can spend it on any other, interior accessories or any other, accessories for the home. So you induce them to buy something. So there are three levels of gifts that you can give, so you can get more leads and then you ultimately get more sales. That's my presentation for now. Don't forget to connect with me at social media. Adonis Anastasio, as I said, is my name, and I have a Facebook profile, Facebook page, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. So everybody's welcome to join me. Drop me a point that you find where you find this presentation, and I'm going to reply back to you. Yes, I'm keeping my promises. I reply back to every single comment that I get on social media. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are tuning in from. Thank you for joining me today in this session where we'll be talking a lot more about e-commerce and digital transformation. And thank you, Digital for Europe, for having me. It's an absolute pleasure and honor. Before I start, I hope everybody is doing okay. Everybody's taking care of their physical and mental well-being in these difficult times. Quick introduction about me. I am Bikash Pathak. I am signing in from Dubai. I'm a passionate digital native who has been in e-commerce and digital transformation over the last 10 years across multiple multi-billion-dollar retailers, legacy retailers, as they transform into omni-channel players. And that's what we'll be talking about today. How do we transform legacy retailers into omni-channel players? This is not a set template. This is more of a matrix based on what I have experienced, based on my successes and lessons from my setbacks, so that you don't make the same pitfalls. I hope you walk away from this session, take something valuable to kind of define your own transformation roadmap. So let's get started. I hope you all can see my screen. All right. So we have been talking about COVID. It's the buzzword, isn't it? The words unprecedented new normal. I'm not even going to use them. But in all the devastation, I think one of the biggest benefactor of COVID has been digital transformation, the unexpected ally. And like Winston Churchill says, never let a good crisis go to waste. And I think that's where e-commerce and digital transformation is definitely focusing. Now, this is a quick snapshot from McKinsey, how e-commerce and digital transformation has accelerated by close to 7 years due to COVID, and most of these changes will be permanent. So if you're one of those businesses who never really had e-commerce into their plan, at least for the next 1 or 2 years, but now are pivoting to it, you are in the right platform. There is no other way to survive as we navigate these changes. However, with the good things though, there are certain caveats. Another McKinsey study, and I've seen this with my own personal experiences, 70% of large-scale digital transformation initiatives fail to reach their objectives. Now, this might be for varied reasons, right? I mean, when we talk about digital transformation, mostly people open their website or launch an app, and that is the be-all and end-all of it. Normally, it's much more wider than that, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I think while you embark on this journey, it is important to know at what stage you are in this transformational journey. Are you a single channel retailer? I mean, do you have only stores, or do you have only a website, a pure play e-commerce? You could be at any channel. Are you a multi-channel? Do you have stores in the business today? Do you have a website and an app? And effectively, they are operated as different businesses with different experiences. Or are you a cross-channel player where, yes, there is some engagement, there is some cross-functional, cross-channel shopping happening, but it's not a holistic ecosystem. Like you might have buy online and click from stores, collect from stores, but that does not necessarily mean you're driving the omni-channel ecosystem. Or are you truly omnichannel, that all your systems are connected, it's harmonized, it's giving customers the true experience, channel agnostic, and whatever you do, customer is at the heart of it. Now, it's very important for you to define very objectively where you are at this journey. I think omnichannel is an overused word many a times. Whenever people or brands or retailers launch an app or a web, they say we are omnichannel. That's not really the case in most instances. You are either a multi-channel or a cross-channel retailer. And it's very important to define that objectively so that you build your roadmap accordingly. Now, when you define your transformation model, you need to position it in terms of your organization structure, in terms of your P&Ls, and in terms of what do you want it to eventually become, right? Now, these are three very common models I've seen across businesses. And again, you will have to choose which ones fits your model the best. But then it's an iterative and evolutionary process, right? Now, normally, based on personal experiences across different retailers in different lifespan of their journey and in different geographies, what I have seen work best is when you start an organization-wide transformation project, you need to set up digital as a center of excellence, you need to set it up as an innovation hub that is going to drive change across the organization. Now, benefit of this is it is obviously a new vertical. It is looking at innovating the existing processes. It needs to be isolated at times so that it can drive those changes. So this is something that is in a way forward-looking, that gives it the right space to grow, to nurture the existing businesses and to shape it accordingly. Now, once you have this set up and you're seeing traction, you're seeing change happening, real change on the ground, be it in terms of technology, processes, or people, you might want to set up digital as a profit center, where you kind of look at your e-commerce or omnichannel business as one separate P&L, where it is driving revenue, driving profits. Now, normally you want to incubate this as a business vertical, where the focus is on growth hacking and revenue channel, essentially. So all your objectives, all your acquisition, marketing or technology is going to be based on return on investment, is going to be goal oriented. So essentially, you are not a center of excellence anymore. You are driving a real revenue to the company. And I think at a point, this monetization becomes very important, Now, once you have done this, and obviously it sounds very simplistic, but it happens over multi-years at times, if not multi-periods. So once you have established your digital vertical, there would come a time when you need to look at one business, one P&L approach. And that's where digital becomes part of your wider brand ecosystem. For example, today, if you're a mono brand retailer, if you have stores and e-commerce set as two different businesses, at some point you have to merge them. You have to merge the objectives so that it's one 360-degree view for the business. And that's what will drive your true omnichannel experience, where one team, one dream, one P&L, channel agnostic KPIs. Now that is the holy grail you want to get to. And based on what I've seen, this is what's the life cycle going to look like in a way. Now, what is that structured approach to digital transformation? I think this is where most of the companies struggle, especially now when we in the middle of a pandemic, the pressures on your P&L is supremely high, your stores are suffering. It's very tempting to launch a website and just build it and let it grow in a silos. But that's going to be a pitfall later down the line, something we'll talk about. So a structured approach to digital transformation would be, you have to define your core vision. What do you want to achieve out of this? What is your goal and purpose of driving omni-channel change or transformation into your business? Now, once you have defined that, and that could be anything. It could be like you want to expand your business geographically. You want to maybe recalibrate your store presence and make it more digital centric. You want to push customers into online first as a research, and then push those customers back into stores for purchases. It could be anything, as long as it has a tangible, measurable goal to it. Now, once you have defined that vision, you need to define your omnichannel value proposition. I'm putting something out here based on businesses I have built with companies. So your omnichannel value proposition could be your marketing and loyalty, how across functionally or omnichannel wise you're going to develop that. It could be pricing and assortment between stores, between online, giving that experience and value chain to the customers. It could be core omnichannel experiences where it's about a person walking into a store, transacting in the store digitally and getting a wow experience. Then, of course, you need to build the caveat of digital operations, your different team structures and all of that. Now, once you have defined your value system or value proposition, the other caveats that make or break a digital transformation initiative is, how are you using your data? You have to be smart about using your data. And this is a very real and tangible opportunity. Most of the legacy retailers have been in business for decades, if not half a century or a century even, in some of the cases I have worked with. Now, all this while, a very set and very, I would say, I won't say old school, a very classical way of looking at data has always existed. You look at data in the form of sales reports. You look at data in the form of human intelligence that's happening in store when the customers are interacting at your POS. But then now with digital, you have a much wider caveat of data that you can really leverage. Behavioral data of how people are interacting with your website, data from your CRM, what's happening out there. So we need to have that single view or a single layer of data so that we make better decisions about our businesses, about our assortment, about our strategies, and eventually about driving that experience for our customers. So smart data is super important. The right technology. I think this is, and I'm sure it's like preaching to the choir. Most of the people in the audience would be dealing with this challenge as we speak, because most of the legacy retailers are set up on legacy IT processes. I mean, we are talking about systems that will be servicing the business extremely well for the last 10, 20 years. But now suddenly we are talking about building e-commerce over those legacy layers of technology. And at times they just don't talk to each other, and that's where the problem arises as you scale. How do you break down those technology silos? So that's definitely one of the issues that you will deal with. I would say the most important though, having that digital ready team. What I've seen in the past is when businesses launch e-commerce, they repurpose some of their existing staff who have been in stores, who have been in offline businesses to take over digital. I won't say that is wrong. I think everything is done due to some purpose, constraints, and objectives. But I would definitely say that if you're launching digital and you are serious about this initiative, you need to have a digital ready team. I think you need to have those skill sets that can eventually train your wider ecosystem of people. That is super important and almost non-negotiable. Last but not the least, I'm sure as some of the senior members in your businesses, the whole capex and investment paradox, right? I think that is one of the biggest challenges, especially during the pandemic, where yes, digital is exciting, it is growing, everybody's talking about it, it is the buzzword, but I'm assuming majority of your revenue is coming from stores and they are suffering. So how do you get the buy-in and capex needed for your digital transformation projects? I think that's one of the biggest conundrums of this era as we talk about balancing profitability with investments. Now, I think the whole aspect about doing sweeping changes across the organization, get it out of the window. Don't even think about it. I would say start small with one business unit, with one business vertical, experiment, show those results, and then iterate. That it needs to be an iterative and agile process rather than looking at a 3 to 5 years plan of, hey, we're going to change this entire organization into a fully digitized player. I think that's not going to be the objective anymore. You need to drive those small changes. You need to monetize. You need to show the ROI, and you need to keep on growing that cycle. I think that's the way to do it. That's the way that has worked for me, even in these times, and I hope it'll work for you. Now, once you have defined your growth structure, what is going to drive that digital growth? Again, going back to the whole familiar pitfall where at times stakeholders believe that, okay, we have the website live now, we have the app, let's make some money. Now, yes, that can still work. That is still going to give you some runway in the short term, but that will never be sustainable for you. So I would say holistically digital as a cycle, right? And this is what I want to project out here with this particular slide. It might look a bit messy, but bear with me, right? So when we talk about digital growth, whether you are an omnichannel player or you are a marketplace or a pure player mono brand, it starts with the user acquisition, right? And I would say as a legacy retailer, your biggest advantage is you already have a brand name, you have a brand equity, you have a user base. And your biggest strength is going to be how do you transform this existing user base from offline to online, an O2O acquisition in a sense. Because the moment you do that, their lifetime value and their frequency or the RFM matrix is going to increase 4x over a period. And that's something very important because, and speaking very candidly here, I've seen cases in the past where once a legacy retailer launches e-commerce, the store business holders at times feel threatened that, hey, now we have e-commerce, it's going to be an erosion of business from my stores to online. You have to mitigate that fear. You have to get people in on the same page to get over that, because the erosion of customers is not going to happen internally. It's going to happen from players who are out there outside of your ecosystem. For example, in this region, we have the likes of Amazon and a few other marketplaces who are the biggest threats. I would say threats. It's a very strong word, but they are the biggest threats to traditional retail players, not your own internal websites. In fact, you're going to merge these two channels together and make it more successful. So going back to user acquisition, you need to get your offline user base online. You need to have that O2O engagement going. And at the same time, you need to ramp up your digital acquisition, get new customers into your ecosystem, right? And this is where the benefit of digital is. You can get those younger people into your cycle, into your ecosystem. Now, once you have acquired, and it is expensive, cost of customer acquisition in digital, especially in Middle East and now even in Europe, it's a super expensive proposition. You need to wow them with the experience. And when I say user experience, it's across all touch points for the customer. It is in the app, it is in the web and the mobile experience. How connected is that experience in store? How connected is that experience in social media? So you cannot look at these channels as silos anymore. It needs to be connected, cohesive, and it needs to know which customer they are talking to, whatever be the channel. So that's where it becomes super important for you to have that single view of customer, irrespective of channel. Now, let's say you have tackled the problem of user experience, and it is not a problem or an opportunity, it's a continuous flow. You need to wow them with your products and promotions, and UX and your commercials are almost part of the same caveat in a sense. Now, you need to understand and define what is that factor that's going to drive people to your website. It could be the widest assortment. It could be something more than what they can find in store. That could be one of the reason. It could be some amazing deals that they can only find online, something that is very overused now in our e-commerce businesses and ecosystems. Or it could be purely about convenience that, hey, if you buy online, you can get it delivered to your home in the next 2 hours. So you need to define what those USPs are and play it accordingly. Now, personally, based on what I've seen, I would say you need to go for the widest assortment plus some online exclusives to get people onto your platform. You need to still drive uniform pricing because you don't want a disparity at ticket price level between a product being sold online and in store. I think that's going to be super confusing. But then have those exclusive online moments, let's say Black Friday or Cyber Monday, where they know that if they come on the website, there's something exciting that's going to happen. Now, to drive that connected experience, you would need a single view of inventory, and this is super critical and more for technology piece. So when you would start, I would assume ideally you'd have a dedicated warehouse for e-commerce where the online business stock is being stored, and then you have stock for your different stores and the whole ecosystem. Now, I'm a big proponent of having single view of inventory, first of all, because it reduces your OPEX cost, where you don't have to buff up your online inventory, where if you're new, you still are analyzing and understanding the trends. So you need to keep your OPEX cost low. Single view of inventory is going to drive more customer satisfaction because it will enable you to ship your orders based on the recency and frequency of your customer plus where he is located geographically, right? So if you have a store in Amsterdam and your HQ is in Berlin, you can ship to that customer from Amsterdam rather than incurring all of that cost of shipping from Berlin, for example, right? So you need to have that single view of inventory. Now, let's say if you have all of this sorted out, one of your biggest core competencies is going to be the logistics and service that you provide to the customer. I mean, some of the no-brainers would be capabilities like buy online, pick up in store, return in store, which is something that will actually help you compete with marketplaces, and you need to have that in your offering ecosystem. Delivery options, what are you exactly offering customers? I think this is something John Lewis does very well. It gives customers the flexibility of when and how they can have that order. And that could be one of your nuances or one of your advantages over some of the more matured marketplaces out there in terms of that service proposition. One thing that we have seen grow significantly are payment flexibilities. A new theme that has dominated recently the Middle East and Europe market is buy now, pay later, which gives the flexibility to customers to buy now and pay later in installment-free options. So you need to have those ammunition in your ecosystem to make your digital growth a sustainable one. I think last but not the least, most important than all of this in a way is how you're looking at data and how you're driving it to have more retention for customers, right? Now, we talked about in the last slide about how being smart about data is super critical for legacy retailers transforming into omnichannel. Few of the things that I want to again highlight is you need to have a single view of your customers. And that's where you need to have a customer data platform. It's something you have to invest in. Build that first party data, first of all, I think, because soon enough, the whole conversation about cookies being obsolete, it also drives that need for single view of customers. But more importantly, as legacy retailers, you'd have built millions, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions, right, of customers over your period of existence. Now, you need to see all those customers, irrespective of channel, as one cohort. That's what will drive the maximum personalization and experience for the customer. Now, second part is you need to look at KPIs specific to channels and their ROIs. That could be marketing KPIs, that could be acquisition KPIs, or what you're doing in terms of different channels of marketing. For example, if you're looking at big outdoor campaigns, you need to have data-centric KPIs. That what do I expect out of it? What is going to be my ROI of this campaign? And same goes for different digital marketing campaigns, be it pay-per-clicks, be it CRM activations, and all of that. So the whole idea is you need to have measurable KPIs for all your activations. And then you need to A/B test constantly. It sounds a very geeky thing to do, A/B test for most legacy retailers. That why do I need to do this? But you need to get into the cycle of testing, iterating, and then deploying over and over again. I think that's one of the big cultural changes that need to be driven, in legacy retail transformation. Then once you have all of these buckets in place, you have your CDPs in place, you have tested your different mechanisms, you need to get into the zone of segmentation and personalization. I think in today's world, personalization is an overused, especially AI-driven personalization. It's an overused word, but eventually, the goal of all your CDP and the loyalty program needs to be that one-to-one personalization connect. I think that's what's going to drive sustainability into your business. It's going to drive conversion and higher AOVs at potentially lower margin cost. So you need to look at segmentation and personalization when it comes to assortment, experience, and even promotions. Now, we have talked about a few must-haves into your digital transformation journey. Let's talk about some of the cliched pitfalls that all big legacy retailers invariably fall into and how you should and you can avoid those, right? So I would say the biggest pitfall or the biggest risk is change management and accountability. It is simplistic to quote as a cohort, change management and accountability. But most of your digital transformation initiatives fail because of this particular piece. And again, working with multiple legacy retailers, I've seen what has worked and what has not is how clearly defined is that vision and the mission. Why exactly do you want to go digital? Do you even need to go digital? I think it's very easy to get caught in this whole buzz, in this whole halo effect of digital being the silver bullet for retail. I think it's very tempting, right? But rather than doing that, you need to define that clear vision and what is your core objective to drive it. Now, once you have that defined, and it could be internal consensus, it could be with help of consultants, it could be with the help of research, whatever it takes. Now, once you have that defined, you have to drive it top down. It has to be top down, unfortunately. And in this case, democracy might not be the best way to go forward. Why I say it is, it's a vision. It's an encompassing vision, and change is always harder to accept when you have day-to-days to take care of. So you cannot expect the frontliners out there to really understand and be the whole missionaries of this change. It needs to be driven from the top. It needs to be driven with a concentrated effort, with a dedicated resource and task force behind it, and then only it can become more meaningful. And talking about driving it from the top, ultimately it's your frontline on the ground force that is going to make or break this. It will be those guys on the store who are interacting with customers, guys in your logistics system who are delivering products to the customer, or your merchants and your buyers who are actually going out there in the market and buying the products. They will decide whether this works or fails. It's as simple as that. So once we have this bias for action, once we have the mission defined, once we have a dedicated CXO team leading this, you need to define very clear objectives and KPIs for everybody across the organization. That what is that weight of digital into everything that do. That could be KPIs for, let's say, digital growth within their categories that is going to impact their bonuses or your salary increments or promotions. But it has to be measurable goals, so that everyone in the organization knows that if I miss this, this is going to be my impact. If I hit this, this is going to be my impact. You need to have that carrot and stick. There is no other way around it. Now, once you have the change management piece sorted out, and when I say sorted out, it's a continuous piece, right? But once you have defined it, it's super important to invest in people and processes. And why I keep repeating this is because legacy retailers have existed for decades with the same people and processes at times. When I say people, it may not be the same people, but the same roles, right? And suddenly you are impacted with a change that's going to transform everything. It is very hard to pivot without really defining what those changes might look like. So, when you are embarking on your journey of digital transformation, bring in digital ready skill set. There is no negotiating around it. You need to have a dedicated team that understands digital across a business, across commercials, marketing, technology, UX, data. You need to bring those skill sets. Now, once you have those skill sets in the team, you have built your core component of that organization structure for digital. You obviously need to invest in upskilling your existing workforce. And that again could be across your legacy ITs, across your commercial teams and logistics, that in their day-to-days, how now digital pivots their routines or their skill sets so that they are part of this. This needs to be a formalized training approach, and then, like I talked about in the last slide, this needs to be incentivized or penalized based on performances. Now, you have the people, you have the drive. Now you need to look at all your business processes. Are they suited for your omni-channel transformation? To give you a very simple example, I mean, I have been in retail e-commerce all my life, right? And fashion has been a major part of it. Before e-commerce or omni-channel, whenever buyers are ordering products or buying products, they don't need to really focus on attributes of products, like what is exactly the material composition, is it what sort of silhouettes is it, what is that exact color. Yes, they have all of that for their own review, but it is not standardized. But then with e-commerce, you need those attributes as an absolute must-have, because that's going to impact your filtering, that's going to impact your search, and lots of other customer-facing, let's say, avenues or touch points. So that itself is a business process change. So you need to identify all those processes across your business spectrum and make it fast and launch it with those pivots in processes. Because if you let this step stir and stay and see and shimmer, you're never going to achieve your transformational goals. I think investment in people and processes needs to be even before you launch your e-commerce platform. I think that's the way to do it. Otherwise, it's going to be a cycle, chicken and egg cycle all the time. Now, I think this is something that is I would say, the thorn in every path, isn't it? Your investment in technology and data. And this is the big capex bucket we're talking about. But it is a necessary evil. We need to look at revamping legacy IT. And it doesn't have to be a vanilla change, right? It can be into smaller modules. Let's say you start off by identifying what is that most important legacy IT part that I need to revamp for e-commerce. It could be inventory, it could be data, it could be even POS or CRM processes. But whatever it is, you need to identify it and you need to start revamping that legacy IT component, because it is not scalable to build e-commerce over a very aging IT ecosystem where it will always be siloed, And from day one, you need to have a vision of that by X, Y, Z years, I'm going to have a very cohesive and cognizant ecosystem where all components are talking to each other. This is non-negotiable, especially this year. If you are launching e-commerce and scaling e-commerce within legacy retail, you need to invest in building and leveraging first-party data. I think this is your biggest asset as a legacy retailer. You have customers who are loyal to you. You have customer data who have shopped with you. Now you need to bring it all together and massage that and make it more proactive to monetize your business. So how does this impact you, right? Why do you need this? So once you have a good, strong customer data platform, you can do so much with it. You can do personalized offer, you can do segmented communication, and all of this is going to impact your business in clear, monetary, defined KPIs. So do not delay on this. I would say invest in a CDP, invest in building and collecting first-party data if you're not doing it already. And lastly, AI and machine learning. I think these are still considered as very fancy, cutting-edge technology. But I would say not anymore. I would say these are not optional gambits that you can ignore in your business. I think businesses who are using AI and ML into their forecasting, into logistics, into customer persona building, they are winning it, at least for the next 5 to 10 years. So start investing, or at least start being aware of how you can integrate AI and ML into your business. I think these are not fancy new age terms anymore. These are critical components of business for the future, and that future is not very far away. So I think it's time that we rather have a very serious look at how we integrate AI and ML into our businesses. Now, I think this is critical. You need to reimagine your marketing strategy. You need to make it measurable. I mean, in the past, and I've seen this happen so many times, where we go out and we have a massive outdoor ATL campaign or a print media campaign, and we just don't know how it worked. We assume that that was a massive success because we paid XYZ amount. But I think need of the hour, especially with COVID crippling our cash flows, you need to make your marketing efforts measurable. And that means moving a part of it, significant part of it, into digital, where it is all ROI and ROAS based. Content is still the king. Whether you're doing it in print, in digital, I think nothing beats a great content, nothing beats a great personalized connection with customers. And even more so now, where people are isolated, people are looking for that human connection while they are trying to withstand this massive onslaught of COVID and social isolation. So, how you communicate with your customers, what sort of content you kind of get them on, is still the paramount thing that's going to ensure that you have recall and top of the mind value when you are in the business. And lastly, retention is cooler than acquisition. And I am a passionate digital guy. And in most of the e-commerce players, it's all about my daily active users. It's all about my MAUs. But I feel retention is more sustainable than acquisition. It is more cost effective and its lifetime value is much longer. And that's where legacy retailers need to invest in, because your business model will be different from marketplaces. You are not a VC driven top line chasing business. Your goal is to make your business bottom line savvy. Your business is profitability. So you need to invest in retention, and that can only be done once you have your customer data platform, once you understand where your customers are, which channel, which geography, and what they are looking for. And you can only do that once you have the data which can help you make informed decisions. So focus on retention as you scale your acquisition. Prioritize CX. I think it is quite self-explanatory in a sense. You have to prioritize your customer experience. You need to go where your customers are. Now, if that means your customers want to shop in marketplaces, you need to invest in building a shop in those popular marketplaces. If they want to shop on social, you need to think about starting social commerce. If they want to be interacted with on WhatsApp, you need to get on WhatsApp for business. So you need to go where the customers are. And eventually, you need to get into the cycle of testing, analyzing that, implementing that, seeing the results, and repeating. I think you need to take that iterative approach of learning from data. We talked about it in terms of the digital growth cycle, and this is something that needs to be a continuous process. You need to let data drive your decisions. And most importantly, you need to prioritize your last mile experience. And I strongly believe that this is what differentiates a legacy retailer driving into omnichannel from a marketplace that is purely driving for top line, right? Your customers trust you. Your customers have been with you for decades, if not centuries. So you need to leverage that. You need to have that amazing last mile experience that's going to be that USP for you, and not just prices, not just crazy deals that's going to bleed out your bottom line. So focus on CX and you're going to win the game, and if not beat, but then match your big ticket marketplaces. So that's it from me. I hope you had a great time listening to this. I hope I could drive some solid takeaways. And if you want to catch up, I'll leave my details. If you can reach me out via the guys at Digital for Europe. Lovely speaking here, and let's stay in touch. Take care.
Hello and welcome to World Digital Weeks 2021. It's a great pleasure being here today. My name is Marcel Vollmer and I'm a partner at Boston Consulting Group. I want to talk about how will the future supply chain and procurement look like in times of artificial intelligence and blockchain. I really wish we could have a physical conference, seeing us, connecting, and having meetings. But unfortunately, this is not possible today. In the future, hopefully, the technology on the one side will get better. On the other side, I also hope that the pandemic will be over, that we can go back to a personal connect. Holograms might be an alternative and a future technology, which is one example, how disruptive technologies might impact us in the future. Before I will come to the agenda, probably a couple of words about who I am. So I'm a partner at BCG since August 1st, 2020. Before that, I was the Chief Innovation Officer at Celonis, a market leader for process analytics, process mining. And before that, I was 14 years at SAP. One of my roles was the role I got into SAP, setting up shared services and transforming back office functions, evolving to a kind of strategic in-house consulting organization, also focusing on integrations. I was the integration lead for business objects and Sybase and moved on as Chief Procurement Officer back in 2011. So I'm now 10 years in procurement, and I had the pleasure really transforming procurement, the processes, the organizational setup, and then being part of the acquisitions as well as the implementations of Ariba, Fieldglass, and Concur, the market leader for source to pay SAP has acquired back at this time. I moved on after 4 years transforming procurement and implementing the solutions to the United States. It was a great pleasure living there. I lived in Atlanta, Georgia, and one thing, as you can hear from my accent, I'm a German. I couldn't get rid of my accent there. Sorry for that, but I hope it's okay. And was really an amazing time in the United States. My role was integrating Ariba and Fieldglass, focusing on intelligent spend management as Chief Operating Officer. And I was also connecting a lot to customers, becoming the Chief Digital Officer in the Cloud Business Group for intelligent spend management, as well as business networks. So by saying that, so it's a great pleasure being here today and share a little bit some insights about the trends, the technologies with the deep dives, as well as how to make the transformation happen to really unleash the full value potential what you have for your digital supply chain. By saying that, let's start. What are the current trends impacting all of us? And I think I want to highlight 4 mega trends, what you see here on the left side. It is economic trends. It is the different speeds in the world, looking United States, Europe on the one side, inside Asia, Africa, fast developing countries on the other side. On the other element, there is the urbanization, the mega cities with new demand patterns, with a different requirements on logistics, on how to manage supply chains in the future. There's also a trend when you look at sustainability. I think climate change is something we all are aware about. There are also challenges in the infrastructure. Mega cities need a different infrastructures, but also the number of people needs to get transportation. There are huge investments all over in the world in all aspects of infrastructures right now. Technology trends are changing our life. We have seen how impactful it can be, coming up with a small device, and you all know what this is, the smartphones, what Steve Jobs developed when he was CEO at Apple back in 2007. Time is really moving fast, and isn't it amazing how this has changed our life, how this has changed e-commerce, but also how we see that artificial intelligence is now becoming basically part of our life by using different apps on our smartphones. The final trend is the meta trend, and this includes demographic shifts as well as the uncertainty. I wish really I could say COVID-19, yeah, it was a catastrophic event. The first pandemic, I think we all have seen in our life on the world. But basically, it is still not over, and that's one of the reasons why we continue to connect in a virtual way. Hopefully, the vaccination will help, that it will be over very soon, and we all have seen how impactful it is talking about a disruption for our supply chains. Let me define supply chain in a very simple way. I'm not here to educate you, and you know this probably as good as I do. Supply chain can be described in 4 simple words. It is plan, it is source, it is make, and it is deliver. It is much more complex when you look into the different aspects. Research, development on the planning side, procurement, the source to pay complexity, what you have with different requirements, sustainability needs, the manufacturing process, the connected devices helping you, robots probably also driving parts of your manufacturing. And finally, also the transportation and logistics. This is basically on the supply chain side, what we see right now, and there are currently 3 action items I would like to highlight. It is, no surprise, a de-risk of a supply-based risk management. It is also a continuous reduction of spend from suppliers. And it is a different way in fostering the collaboration with suppliers. When we look really in the old world, how the supply chains were globalized, how basically everything was connected. You see it here on the left side, and the volume is really big. It is 80 trillion global trade, full year figures 2019. What we have in the world. Just to give you a perspective, the global GDP is around 85, 87 trillion globally. 18 trillion is what out of that is global trade. We see now a change that basically there are more regional centers in the supply chains. We see also a different way in how suppliers are collaborating, driving on the one side risk management, on the other side focusing on innovations. It might be big innovations like a smartphone, the Gorilla Glass, Tim Cook invented together with Corning when he was the chief supply chain officer overseeing procurement. It might be smaller ones, what you see here, improving packaging material, having less material, more sustainability to a lower price. Something also what you can do driving and connecting with suppliers. And it is now of utmost importance having alternative sources. I'm a German, as you can hear from my strong accent. I'm here in the middle in Europe, in Frankfurt right now. Basically, I would not have ever envisioned that borders are getting closed due to the pandemic. What does it do to the supply chains? This is just within Europe, a fairly small region when you look on the global map. But the same is applicable in all parts of the world. Therefore, alternatives need to be available. Supply chain as well as procurement have a challenge today. They need on the one side to deal with uncertainty, with complexity. But on the other side, they need also to move up the value ladder to become a digitally empowered business partner. A lot of functions are at different stages. When you look at the lower left, it is the transactional support the function started with, but then it became more a service function. Functional excellence was a focus topic. Then cross-functional improvements up to a competitive advantage and value driver. And the future is the digitally empowered business partner, what we see to really go to the next level. What does it mean? It means you need to be able to use the different disruptive technologies, what we all have seen in the world, to the right extent and integrate it in your process. And with that, we will see in the future that companies will become bionic. What does it mean? Bionic basically means that you combine technology on the one side with the humans on the other side. And why do you do that? Because you achieve a higher outcome with that when you combine technology and humans. And this is in supply chain, improving your performance and also enabling you, generating business value. And of course, what is key for all of us in supply chain management, fast delivery, what is needed. Looking now a little bit into what are the technologies we are talking about. And let me cluster it in 3 different segments. So one is already established technologies. We know it, APIs, mobile devices, cloud computing, IoT, big data, analytics. This is already well established. It is still evolving, but basically it is the foundation, if you want to say. The next frontier is blockchain technology, robotics, 3D printing. It is autonomous vehicles. It is machine learning, artificial intelligence as a broader term. Machine learning is a subset of that. And in the future, augmented reality, virtual reality, nanotechnology, smart implants, and probably also at a certain point in time, connected neocortex, basically connecting human capabilities of your brain with computing power on the other side. It is a little bit more in the future. Let's go back and look what is available today, and artificial intelligence is a great example. What you see here is the evolution from the business intelligence, the descriptive data, descriptive statistics, what we had on the lower left, to traditional analytics with correlation, regression analytics, clustering. And we see also then now that machine learning is capable to deal with unstructured information, with data like image processing, speech, text processing, but also video recognition. There are lots of applications doing this right now and really providing insights. Let's have a look, what does it do in our daily life? And I'm a big fan of using technology. I was a chief digital officer, chief innovation officer, so I have a little bit something for technology, I have to admit. And Google Maps is a great example, including Waze, which I use for driving from A to B, having real-time traffic information, helping me to redirect me at any point in time as soon as the information becomes available. Calling an Uber or Lyft at any point in time when I need it by just clicking one button and say, hey, pick me up, this is the destination I need to go, and hopefully I get there in time safely. Siri is helping to dictate, to transcribe my voice, even with my strong accent, into English or German, whatever the language is I'm using. It is also using Amazon Alexa at my smart home, where I switch on lights and switch it off. It is a Google Assistant. It was so impressive when I have seen at Google I/O that a machine, a computer, is calling a hairdresser to ask for an appointment. So probably some of you might have seen that. These are the capabilities which exist, and great examples also what artificial intelligence can do today. Let's have a look in the next level now for e-commerce and the shippers as part of supply chains. And the future supply chain might be anticipatory, meaning that basically you can include volume forecast, predictive capacity utilization into your supply chain planning process. DHL is doing that for the utilization of all deliveries they do. Transmetrics, another example. On the anticipatory shipping, great examples are Amazon or Tesco, basically also looking into the predictions of buying behavior. What does it mean for the quantity of shipments you have to expect as well as you have to deliver later on? And then using the capabilities for predicting supply chain risks, which are definitely key. We have seen the Suez Channel, when the Suez Canal was blocked by one ship. Basically, 12% of the global trade had to stop. Hundreds of ships were no longer possible to go from Asia to Europe or to the United States by not going around Africa to go for an alternative route. That's something also to include where technology can help. Overall, when we look really on the supply chain and the evolution, and let's have a look here on traditional supply chains, we all know them. There's a retail store, there's a warehouse, there's a warehouser of the production company, there's a factory where the goods got manufactured, as well as the raw materials, what you finally needed to make the product. There was always an information lag in between. How many quantities do we might sell? What is it really what we have to produce? You still need to do a certain planning, but you can now use real-time information. You can focus your supply chain more on a demand-driven supply chain setup, allowing you to process the real-time information to produce ideally exactly what the demand is from the customer side. This is a big transformation. Artificial intelligence is also helping in a different way. I mentioned very briefly autonomous vehicles, self-driving cars. This might change the way how we will see supply chain and also the last mile delivery. I'm not sure if really drones will fly around every day and will deliver everything what we need in more or less real time. But basically, I think augmenting the current capabilities what we have with the autonomous vehicle capabilities of the future might definitely help also to become more efficient in the supply chain management. Let's wrap up by looking into the use cases, what is possible to do from dynamic pricing, predictive maintenance, predictive analytics, using also for vessel or truck route optimization, the available information, processing it in real time, like the Google Maps or Waze examples, dynamic lashing, robotics, what can be used, and of course, the prediction and prevention of customer churn, as well as the booking, what we get. So basically, this is in a nutshell what are the current use cases, and I hope it was insightful sharing a little bit more insights about the current capabilities. Let's talk about the next topic, blockchain. Blockchain has evolved, and most people know it for Bitcoin. When Satoshi Nakamoto publishes a white paper describing the digital currency, the Bitcoin, this was basically the term blockchain that it became more popular and people were using it. In the meantime, a lot happened. And I like more speaking about digital distributed ledger technology. Sorry for that, DLT. This is probably the better term to use and ensure that we focus more on the technology side. And the distributed is basically the starting point for the four core elements what you have in a blockchain or the distributed ledger technology. It is the P2P network, a shared ledger where you have distributed peer-to-peer network nodes to ensure that you have on the one side resilience and full transparency of all the information available. You have digital signatures and the hash function to ensure that the information are not manipulated. Then you have consensus and algorithms, what you are using to ensure the validity of the transactions, which you confirm by the consensus. And finally, also you have smart contracts, basically smart contracts, and this might be the most powerful for us in supply chain management as well as in procurement. They can automate the execution of certain algorithms depending on the available information. If something is ordered, it might get automatically delivered. And if the goods received is in the system, the payment can be triggered in a highly automated way. And the beauty of the full functionality of the distributed ledger technology provides you end-to-end visibility into your supply chain, connected with the documents, all the information flows from the raw material, the extraction of the material, sustainability aspects, human labor aspects, that you don't have child labor or forced labor in your supply chain as a starting point, going from every single step in the production and transportation to finally the end product which gets delivered. You have for the goods and services the transparency, and you have the full transparency about also the financial transactional information in this process to allow you really to have the visibility, to govern it, and to have all the capabilities available in your supply chain process. There are great examples where we see very successful approaches in using distributed ledger technology. Maersk and IBM are one example for shipping. CargoX is promoting blockchain-based payment systems to transfer money according to smart contracts in a highly automated way. Steel OEM use blockchain to monitor inventories as another example. So the use cases are really becoming more prominent and they are much more syncable. And this is what you see here on the left side. You can increase efficiency for data and document management. You can also manage complex regulatory requirement, compliance. You can also use it for fraud detection or equipment optimization. And use it also for the letter of credit process, because you can have all the information available. This is only just a number of use cases with the description and the details behind what blockchain is now at an emerging technology at the beginning right now. This was a lot about technology, talking about artificial intelligence, talking about blockchain or distributed ledger technology. Let's wrap up this presentation with the digital transformation, how to really unleash the value potential for a digital supply chain and an integrated procurement function by that. I think very important is focusing on the vision, looking into really the jump forward, what's coming next. 2025 might be realistic to think about, and then looking back and thinking about what is the value potential to realize, and also what are potential quick fixes to do it. And how could such a transformation roadmap look like? And basically it is 5 simple steps. Let's start with the vision, to articulate what is really the overarching ambition, what you have, what do you want to achieve, and also use it to bring the people behind. Then the next step is defining a roadmap, starting with a digital proof of concept, a POC, and of course then a physical POC to drive really and realize the transformation of your supply chain. And if it's proven, if it really works and you have incorporated all the learnings, the next stage comes the rollout. This provides you really with all the capabilities in driving the transformational steps, and the vision could be becoming and using a bionic supply chain, combining technology capabilities with the humans you have, the smart people in your process to really manage and oversee everything. A lot will be automated, including also internal, external information, providing real-time visibility, full transparency. It also might help you in the supply chain management process to get rapid decision-making support powered by machine learning, using it for scenario modeling, using it also to evaluate alternative scenarios, what you have. Think about a pandemic or a disruption in your supply chain. How can you probably analyze and assess what the impact is and how it might change? An anticipated supply chain disruption might help you a lot by thinking about who are the right suppliers, what are alternatives, what is my risk mitigation strategy, and think about also then combining it in the right setup. I think, and let me conclude by saying that the future is yours or ours to define right now, and digital disruptive technologies can help to elevate the supply chain and procurement function to the next level into the future. I hope it was insightful. Thank you very much. As mentioned, I would love really to connect with you and hope we will have a chance next time to come together at a conference and see us. In the meantime, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, Marcel Vollmer, or also on Twitter at mvollmer1. That's my Twitter handle. With that, I wish you a great rest of the conference. I hope you enjoyed the session, and all the best. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, you are most welcome to this Logistics of the Future Supply Chain and Fulfillment Conference 2021. Today's topic is optimizing carbon footprint and cost of inbound logistics, cloud-based career collaboration approach, which I'll be taking you through. Before we start, a very brief introduction about myself. I am Dr. Milan Chaudhary, having a PhD degree in supply chain management. I primarily work as a consultant and research scholar in digital supply chain area. I have I have around 14 years of experience in working with digital supply chain and implementing supply chain solutions to many other clients. And also I am specifically interested about implementation of digital supply chain transformation and logistics transformation projects, big high level of logistics transformation projects. So that's all about myself. Let's start today's topic, that is optimizing carbon footprint and cost of inbound logistics, cloud-based career collaboration approach. So let me have a very brief introduction about the topic that we'll be talking about today. We all know that in today's a cutthroat market, competitive market, it's very difficult to run a business. But probably, possibly, it's more difficult to run a business, successful business, with having negative carbon footprints. So what is a carbon footprint? We all know that the emissions, primarily the carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gas emissions that happens due to normal business activity, day-to-day business activity. This amount is called the carbon footprint, what we leave behind. So each and every business more or less gets involved into emitting this carbon dioxide or greenhouse gases. And we all know in this today's hard business environment, it's very difficult for us, and very crucial also for us today to survive, because the impact of carbon greenhouse gas emissions and huge amount of carbon dioxide emissions across the planet's atmosphere is causing a harm every day. It is making our life more difficult. And so for overall performance of business, the carbon emission has become a key factor in many nations. We know a few global climate agreements are also been signed, like say for example Paris agreements, which are getting implemented. In US we have a strict cap and trade emissions. So in the coming years, it will be more important for all the businesses to become not only carbon compliant, but also possibly becoming carbon negative while they work in their normal businesses. So whenever they go beyond, these businesses go beyond, they expand their operations across geographies, they are facing more stringent laws day by day and restrictions in order to comply with the carbon emissions. Besides, lowering of carbon footprint is often associated with positive impacts of a firm's brand and reputation, because the clients that they work with, they are also interested to know about what all the carbon emission figures that they have. So we all know that there are many ways to reduce or to optimize the carbon footprint. Most of them are related to some sort of capital expenditure, which is not that much easier for business to adopt or to say install. Say for example, if we are talking about a large solar cell based power system, it is the capital expenditure for this is huge. And also, if we're talking about a completely greenhouse compliant waste disposal system, that is also becoming huge difficult for businesses to implement, because they are all having a huge capital cost involved into their implementation. So what all the other ways in which a business can be sure that it's carbon compliant, and also it can showcase that compliance or that negative carbon footprint to its clients and the concerned authorities of that country, so that it becomes easier for them to do their day-to-day normal operations. So which is where my topic is related. It's more related to, rather than capital expenditure, it has more related to operational expenditures. So the operational optimizations, they have a significant contribution on carbon footprint as well. As we know that most of the transportation activities of a business, they are related to some sort of carbon emissions. And we all know that that operational optimization can be implemented in existing supply chain inbound logistics. They are mostly known as milk run. So uh, normally, as we know that this inbound logistics milk run scenarios are usually adopted by automobile and dairy, beverages, airline and transportation industries for movement of their raw materials, spare parts. So it's nothing but a logistics and transportation activity, one of the logistics and transportation activity which is very much capable of emitting up to 4 times of greenhouse emission of a company's normal emissions. So a better collaboration and planning with the carriers can make a significant difference on the company's overall carbon compliance or carbon performance, and it can really help not only to be compliant but also to save a lot of cost for that organization, so that it can be helpful in going forward for them. Now we talk about the purpose of this presentation. So, as I said, the objective of this presentation is to present a systematic approach of information sharing and collaboration with freight carriers, that is mostly the transportation carriers we're talking about, using cloud platforms with special reference to milk run scenarios, aiming to optimize the overall carbon footprint and operational cost for the business. Also, this presentation also highlights an emerging research area of career collaboration having potential for betterment of environment and society by being carbon compliant. So let us try and understand what is the optimization of inbound logistics milk run that we're talking about. Now, as we know, like optimization of logistics and transportation activities is simulated by the traveling salesman problem and also a vehicle routing problem. So these two problems are very elementary problems which define the optimization methods, the route optimization, mileage optimization, and cost optimization as well. So these are very primitive methods of the shortest path calculation or vehicle optimization, route mileage savings. So they deal with the design of least cost delivery routes through the geographically scattered locations, and they are one of the most widely studied route optimization problems. A simple milk run, a VRP or vehicle routing problem scenario can be analyzed with a very well-known formula which is called a Clark-Wright algorithm, and it is having the capability of solving this optimization problems in a more simpler way. But whenever the solution becomes more complex, I mean, whenever all other factors, other constraints are taken into consideration, this solution often becomes more complex. So let us go through very quickly about what all the Clark-Wright algorithm is all about. So here you see in the left-hand side figure, we have a manufacturer M from where two suppliers, supplier A and supplier B, they are linked, and these suppliers are actually the supplier for the manufacturer, from whom normally the manufacturer picks up the raw materials. Now, if you see here that the manufacturer is having a truck which from the location M, it sends the truck to supplier A, then the supplier from that location, the truck goes to say supplier B, and then it comes back to the manufacturer. Now, as we all know that if a truck goes to the supplier A and picks up the material, comes back to manufacturer M, and then again goes to supplier B, picks up the material and comes back to manufacturer M, then the total distance traveled by that transportation vehicle is 2 into MA, that is the distance between the supplier and the manufacturer manufacturer and the supplier A, and 2 into manufacturer B to supplier M, so manufacturer M to supplier B distance, that is 2MN plus 2MB. Now, the savings will be here if the truck doesn't go to MA, AM, and then MB, BM way, but if it goes like MA to AB to BM, so in that case, it will actually be saving a few mileages, because normally it is in that MA plus MB minus AB, that is greater than 0. So the Clark-Wright algorithm actually tells us that if this distance MA plus MB is greater than the distance AB, that is the distance between two suppliers, then definitely that will be the amount of the cost saving or the mileage saving for that vehicle and the manufacturer. Now, if we move on, things are not so much simpler when we talk about the other parameters which are involved. Say, for example, if we talk about the capacity related parameters, then the scenario becomes quite complex. So if we say that in a specific route there are trucks which have capacity limits which may cater or not to the combination of the capacity of supplier A and B, then this particular Clark-Wright algorithm and transportation optimization becomes a bit complex, because calculating in that way becomes more complex. It doesn't becomes that easy. Now, so that is, for example, a capacitated VRP, CVRP, and where actually the multiple vehicles individual capacity limits are needed to be considered in optimal route calculation. And also the VRP with time window, where the material handling vehicles pickup and delivery service at supplier must be initiated and finished between the predefined time periods. So these two parameters make this simple solution more complex. So this is the complexity that we are talking about in optimal route calculation. Now, what is our approach? So our approach is, after considering all the constraints, it's needless to say that merely calculating an optimal route will not be sufficient enough to execute optimized run vehicle routing for minimizing carbon footprint and cost. So definitely a better communication and collaboration with couriers and suppliers can only ensure a flawless execution. Also, technology can play a major role by enabling reliable communication and collaboration amongst the manufacturer, supplier, and carriers. During the last few decades, we know that information and communication technology, which is called ICT, has revolutionized the way in which supply chain operates. There are standard algorithms which are being used in Clark-Wright in solving the complex scenarios. But even then, those algorithm doesn't ensure that your computation of optimal route will always be 100% correct, because they may depend on much more dependent on the communication in between carriers and suppliers and manufacturers. We'll come to that. Now, if we go by design thinking approach, we know prototyping is one of the more important factors in design thinking approach. So here, in order to solve this problem, we have prototyped actually this scenario, and you can see over here in the right hand side diagram, that we have actually to imitate a real life milk run capacitated VRP scenario. We have vehicles of individual capacity limits. They are considered when calculating. And we have also assumed a single depot model in order to make the calculation more simpler. Now, the complexities to be considered while planning a multi-vehicle milk run in order to optimize is which vehicle to go on. Say, for example, in this right-hand diagram, there are two vehicles which are involved to pick up the material from supplier B, supplier A, supplier C, and supplier D one by one. So there can be different permutations and combinations in which these vehicles may move, and then they pick up the materials from the individual suppliers. Say, for example, vehicle can go on, say, from manufacturer depot M to supplier B to supplier A to supplier C to a manufacturer depot M. In that scenario, the other combination for vehicle 2 would be to go from manufacturer depot M to supplier D only. So like that, there can be different sort of permutation and combinations in which these two trucks can go. The objective here is to reduce or optimize the total mileage traveled by both the costs, so that the total optimization of mileage can be done. Also, the cost can be optimized. So now the major questions over here is that which vehicle to go on for which supplier pickup and in what sequence, so that the total distance traveled by both vehicle is minimized. Also, which vehicle meeting the required capacity for all suppliers lying in a specific route. Now, this is a more into like this, like the prototyping simulation that we are seeing over here in the left hand side, the same diagram that we saw in earlier slide. So if we assume that the distances from the suppliers A, B, C, D to depot M is respectively the values which are shown here, and then say, for example, the supplier distances are also given, they are given factor. So there can be, as I said, there can be different combinations of the routes in which the vehicle 1 and vehicle 2 can move. The first set of, for example, the first set of route I have taken as the vehicle 1 will go from manufacturer depot M to supplier B, then to supplier A, and then it will come back to manufacturer depot M. And then the vehicle 2 will go from manufacturer depot M to supplier D to supplier C, and then again come back to manufacturer depot M. So like that, I have calculated three possible routes in which the individual distances are calculated, and then they're summed up in order to get the minimum distance calculated. Added by total, the summation of total distance traveled by both of the trucks. So for scenario 1, the top one, you see that the total distance traveled by both the vehicles is around 32 kilometers, where for the second scenario, it is coming around 36 kilometers. And for the third scenario, it is going around 38 kilometers. Now, by merely seeing this calculation, it is easier to say that the most optimized route for these trucks would be the first one, that is total travel distance calculated is 32 kilometers only. But to be honest, this estimation becomes very complex when capacity constraints are imposed. Say, for example, if we assume that vehicle 1 and vehicle 2 has a volume capacity of 210 and 220 liters respectively, whereas supplier A, B, C, D capacity varies in the range of 100 and 200 liters, then possibly this area planning accuracy will fall, because there will be capacity constraints, and the vehicle which will be deciding to go from one route to another, it will be not that much easier for them to decide because of capacity constraints. So on the above optimum mileage route on a specific supplier A, B, C and D to be carried capacity is 115, 110 and say for example others respectively. Now planning for a multi-vehicle milk run, there is always a possibility that it will fail on the first route that we talked about. As I said that the total capacity of supplier and B is not matching with the total capacity of the truck. But again, if we take other routes, it may happen that it will be able to cater the total capacity of that route. So therefore we see here the crux of the thing is that we see here that reviewing this example we can say that optimum route determination becomes more complex when additional parameters like loading sequence, vehicle frequency, temperature control, packaging schedules, etc. are considered for calculation. So it doesn't look like that easy optimization problem which we can solve very easily. Now then the question is how to ensure that this implementation will happen. So like I'm showing you one equation which tells us about the total carbon emission E for any vehicle routing which can be measured by the following equation. It is a very complex equation, will not go much inside it, but if you can see that there are several parameters here and shown in this slide. Where E is the total carbon emission and there are several parameters like the empty weight of the transported vehicle, the carrying capacity of the transported vehicle, the constant associated with the vehicle type. D is the travel distance calculated by vehicle. So there are several parameters which actually impact the total carbon emission of this route. So as you see that, from all these above equations, we can see that it's evident that be it route cost optimization or mitigation of carbon footprint actual reduction, effective capacity planning is one of the critical success factors for an inbound logistics milk scenario. And in other words, vehicle capacity to be precisely planned and matched with the summation of the individual supply to be carried capacity. Like as we already discussed that planning uncertainties in a typical milk run capacitated BRP is often caused by lack of information and thus effective fleet information communication with couriers and suppliers it is at most important. And here technology can play a major role because capacitated BRP scenarios for capacitated BRP scenarios they enable reliable communication and collaboration amongst carriers, suppliers, and manufacturers. Now, why we are talking about cloud here is that the cloud ERP is one of the emerging areas of information and communication technology where service provided by network of remote servers and internet hosts to store, manage and process data instead of local computers. So the cloud computing services are cheaper and they can be used as a pay-per-use basis and they're flexible and also they are used on demand basis. So all of these qualities of cloud make it a most viable product with lowest pricing. So coming to the conclusion here that we all seen in the previous slides that merely by calculating the shortest path traveled by all the trucks or the vehicles is not the core of the success of transportation planning, because there can be several other parameters which needs to be incorporated. So normally our manufacturers transportation planning system, they are having inbuilt algorithm to take care of the distances calculated, but they are not always having efficient use of capacity planning so that efficient capacity planning can happen. Now, this capacity planning informations are very vital because on a specific day, on a specific route, a courier or say, for example, a supplier can only tell that how much capacity they will be able to provide it. That is a very vital information for a manufacturer. And while doing the transportation planning, that information should be fed into manufacturer's transportation management system. Only then an efficient transportation route calculation can happen, and based on that, also the carbon footprint can be mitigated. So you see here in this diagram here, you can clearly see that this on the left hand side diagram, we are proposing a typical solution where the manufacturer's on-premise central ERP, which is connected with the cloud platform of fleet of partners, that is supplier or carrier, who can collaborate with manufacturer with a simple smartphone application. So here comes the cloud. If a manufacturer's central ERP system can be connected with the cloud of supplier and carrier clouds, through that cloud and a smartphone based application, which is very cheaper also, and it's the most viable product for even small businesses like carriers, they can provide information, or they can share and collaborate over the cloud by sharing information, and which is how actually that information can be fed while a manufacturer can plan, while manufacturer is actually planning the transportation route for all those suppliers and couriers. So that's what I mean, using these applications it can be done. And so what we see from this layout or from this diagram is that using a very simple smartphone based application, suppliers and carriers, they can share their respective capacities, pick up schedules via cloud, which then fed to manufacturer's central ERP, where transportation planning is made. So once planning is completed, the planned capacity, fleet schedule information can be shared with suppliers and carriers using the same cloud-based smartphone applications. So we have seen here in this slide that that inbound logistics, milk and vehicle routings can be efficiently collaborated, which in turn leads to efficient use of transportation fleet, which is then helps to optimize the carbon footprint and the freight transportation cost for the manufacturer. So let's come to conclusion then. First thing is that it's evident from our discussions that when we have the objective of carbon footprint mitigation and cost reduction, merely calculating an optimal route is not sufficient enough for inbound logistics, milk and vehicle routing scenarios. The second point is that several other constraints, for example, capacity, fleet schedule, etc., needs to be taken care while calculating in order to achieve the optimized emission and cost, which increases the complexity. Third thing is that a technology-enabled efficient collaboration can really help, like a cloud application, which can make the job easier for the transportation planner by making a real-time information sharing and collaboration between carriers and suppliers, and which is why the cloud-based applications can really be utilized to dissipate planned pickup schedules information with suppliers and couriers, so that the transportation planning is completed by the manufacturer efficiently. So whatever we discussed, I have tried to jot down over here in a very simple diagram. So when suppliers and carrier they collaborate with the cloud, what happens is that as a result of it, the better collaboration with carriers and suppliers happen, which then leads to a better transportation planning, and then better transportation planning leads to optimum transportation. And obviously, if you go for an optimum transportation, that will definitely lead to the reduction in carbon footprint, and obviously also the cost. Will save a lot of cost on it if you go for an optimum transportation. And then also reduction in carbon footprint gives you another chance to reduce the cost of operation, because when you'll be carbon compliant, automatically your the cost of total operation will be reduced. Your all those local laws and restrictions will be compliant so that your business will run successfully. Future work can be done because this study or this analysis and research was restricted. Now this presentation is actually attempted to present a systematic approach of information sharing and collaboration using cloud platform amongst the manufacturer, carrier, and supplier in order to mitigate the carbon footprint and cost of inbound logistics through milk run. Though precise measurement of carbon emission and cost saving in dollar value is out of scope, we couldn't measure the actual dollar value, but we expect this presentation has provided some basic insights and opened new opportunities for future researchers in this area. Thank you all for keeping patience and hearing to me. And thanks a lot for having a part of this supply chain conference. I would like to hear back from all of you. If you'd like to give some feedback, please provide over the LinkedIn group. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So it's me, your presenter, Milan Chaudhary. I'm ending this presentation. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, my name is Alexander Savkovic and I am WordPress Community Manager at Cloudways. Today I will talk about WordPress 101 or how to start your e-commerce store and what to do and what not to do. So some useful advices, some history, and some things you might didn't know earlier, but it could be helpful for you. So let's start with the presentation. Okay, it's e-commerce 101. And what is on the menu today? Today, we will talk about what is e-commerce actually, how it affected shopping, the benefits of e-commerce, physical and digital products, pros and cons, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the worst examples from e-commerce I ever ran into, and those are the things you shouldn't be doing, like never, literally never. And you will see those examples, so you will understand why you should never do something like that. First, what is e-commerce? E-commerce is basically every financial transaction over internet. So it's not just shopping, as many people traditionally think. Whenever a company or a person purchases something online, they're involved in e-commerce, and e-commerce is literally every financial transaction, from e-banking, auctions, charity portals, services for money transfers like Payoneer, PayPal, and many others like TransferWise. All of that is considered as e-commerce. So it's not only shopping, it's everything where the money is involved. A bit of a history of e-commerce. Interesting fact is that the first online transaction ever, or online purchase, was actually completed in 1994, when the user bought the Sting CDs and paid with MasterCard. For us on this part of the world, Balkans, it's quite unimaginable that something like that happened 27 years ago. So if you're asking yourself today, should you have a web shop or you should still keep your physical presence only, think again, because you're thinking wrong, definitely. Afterwards, after that transaction and after that successful start of e-commerce, Amazon and Alibaba brought big boom on e-commerce market. They actually moved retail from physical stores to web, which was unimaginable before. And those two are the biggest now in the world. And one of the founders, actually the both founders, are the richest people in the world at the moment. Which changes it brought? It brought a lot of changes. Some are good and some are bad. But it's like that with everything. There is nothing you can bring new and not to have people around who will try to abuse it, who will try to abuse the idea, who will try to abuse people who are accepting that idea. So you cannot protect yourself from everything. So which changes it brought? Closing physical stores and firing many people. This was partially true, but opening online stores hired some other people, and I will mention later which industries it opened. Actually, e-commerce needs all profiles. You need salesperson, but it's not the salesperson which will be in your physical store. You need a salesperson behind the computer, sitting and supporting and answering questions the same way as they would in person. But even what is more important is that those people, sales representatives in online shops, needs to know more about the products you're selling, because those kind of questions will be the most often questions if someone contacts support on your e-commerce shop. You can buy or sell products from or to someone on the other side of the planet, which was, again, unimaginable earlier. You can buy knowledge and you can sell knowledge. It is the first time that you don't need to be employed as professor in some official or unofficial school or university, but you can sell any kind of knowledge online. And what is also equally important is that you can buy and gain knowledge just by sitting behind your computer. We are spending hours and hours per day on Facebook and Instagram and other social networks. And imagine that you spend 50% of that time learning something new. It's also a huge relief for people with disabilities, because many people with disabilities didn't have that chance to study as others did. They never had the chance to buy products as others did. Like in some countries in the world, like European countries and US, mostly they don't have, especially people in wheelchairs, an example, or blind people, they have cities fixed in a way so they can live in those cities without much hassle. But still in Balkans, it's kind of a problem, because you can still see that the most of the buses, or some of the buses at least, are not the flat floor buses, so people in wheelchair cannot access it. And that kind of a lack of accessibility, which is awful, is advantage for e-commerce shopping and for e-commerce for those people with disabilities, because they can both buy online or gain some knowledge online. Also, one of the changes was amount of investments e-commerce brought to IT industry, and how IT industry developed faster because of those investments. And of course, the one thing I mentioned at the beginning of this chapter is huge expansion of sub-industries like carriers, packaging, creating new industries like digital marketing, SEO, things that became a need for all these e-commerce shops. Also, what went out great from e-commerce is those investments, because those investments also brought a huge number of innovations. In example, Amazon needed better infrastructure and better servers and better service for their customers. So what they did, they actually invented their storages for data. And now that is one of the most popular storages and most popular cloud solutions for website hosting and storing your information and data. What are the benefits? What everyone advertise, of course, shopping from your sofa. It doesn't require huge investment at the beginning. You can start small and then grow. If you decide to open a physical store, you will need a huge investment at the beginning, and you need to have some kind of a start which is not small start. You cannot start with one product and physical store unless it's something really specific. But for the most of the businesses, you cannot just start with one product. With online, you can start with one product and then grow your business from there. Easier to reach potential customers, social networks, retail portals, many places where you can find customer who is actually in need for your products. You can monetize your knowledge through online courses, which is quite easy because there are many platforms where you can sign up and start teaching people English, or you can prepare and record your courses and sell those courses. So there are like many ways to earn online just selling your knowledge. Also, money back guarantee, which is like industry standard online. It can be tricky for physical stores, but when it's online, you can just ask for the refund or chargeback to ask your money back, and that's it. Digital and physical products. What are the digital products? Amazon started selling books online, and other thing they developed in the meantime, they realized people are downloading PDFs, reading PDFs, but they can use those PDFs to send to others. So they invented Kindle, where you buy a book and you read a book through Kindle, and it's awesome. It's really great to read from Kindle because it's made for that. And that is one of the things you can sell online. Also, you can sell your photos, audio, video, design, software, and everything what your computer or someone else needs or you need. In example, diet plan, you want to lose weight, you sign up. It's not ideal because it's not created especially for you, because diet plans should be created especially for you, but it can be helpful. And it, of course, it doesn't cost as much as it would cost in person to get that diet plan. Bad side, of course, is preventing privacy and abusing your intellectual property. You sell the book in PDF to one person, they can forward it to hundreds. You create some background music for videos, for advertisement, for that kind of stuff, and someone just download it and use it without asking you. Finding it, yes, you will find some, but finding the most of them will be like impossible. Physical products. On the other side, you can buy or sell whatever you want online. From peanuts and, almonds, and something really small and something really cheap, to houses, yachts, villas, hotels, whatever you want. You can literally sell everything online. And interesting fact that the car industry, car resellers and used car especially, they switched 100% to online. If you look at the history of that, there was one mobile.de earlier in Europe, And then that kind of portals or websites grew all around Europe and all around the world. So you're just sitting home and picking what you want to buy. Bad side is a huge amount of scammers and frauds. Very often products you see and products advertised are not products that you will receive. We have those like hundreds of funny stories. I ordered this from AliExpress. This is how it looks on the photo, and this is how it looks on me. So that kind of stuff will always happen, and it's not just scammers and frauds. It's also a lack of description for products and everything. What is tomorrow? Yeah, this is kind of a tough one. It's detailed product information. Interesting, but it is. Imagine you want to buy a shirt like this one. You don't know the size. It's medium, it's large, it's extra large, it's extra, extra, extra large, or whatever. But I'm wearing everything from large to extra, extra, extra large. I'm 193 centimeters and 100 plus kilograms. And I would say it's extra large, but sometimes is double extra large, sometimes is just large. So what do I pick? I will not pick anything online. I will have to check the length of sleeves. I would have to check how wide it is from shoulder to shoulder. So I need measures. So give detailed product information like measures. People will buy if they see right measures, so they can compare on their t-shirt, on their shirt, on their pants, and they will know what is the size they need to order. So it's a really simple, small thing, but it can give you a lot of advantage comparing to others and comparing to your competition, which you can offer, and maybe they miss to do it. Maximum usage of social networks for marketing and communication with clients. Of course, the place where people are looking for something nice are social networks, not just doing it with your ads. Also by chasing people who might be interested in your products through Facebook groups. There are many communities on Facebook that you can target really easy. I mean, if you have like, I don't know, you're selling some equipment for babies, you will chase moms of Belgrade, moms in Serbia, moms in Novi Sad, moms in Sofia, whatever. So you have a specific place where you can sell your products. You need to enable easy and simple ordering from computer and mobile devices. So your website needs to be 1,000,000% mobile optimized and usable in mobile. If it's not, you will be losing around 70% of conversions. Also, the same applies for computer. Do not ask for details you don't need. If you need someone's name, last name, address, and phone number and email, that's it. Don't ask for more information just to fill up some spreadsheet marketing team asked from you. No, your marketing team is not doing good. So people are not willing to give you more information than it's really needed. And as I said, you can target special groups, but not just like moms of or dads or bodybuilders or whatever. You can go more specific because those people are more passionate about buying just that type of products. It's marketing eco products, eco packaging, organic products, and no child labor in supply chain similar. Why this is important? if you have a new brand, let's say with t-shirts or something like that, you're printing some really interesting t-shirts, and your competitors are fast fashion companies. Fast fashion companies are using a lot of child labor in their supply chain, and your advantage over them can be proving that there is no child labor in a supply chain for the products you're selling. What shouldn't be done? Like never. Don't be a scammer like these shops. First of all, first trick, dirty trick they're using is lying that something is on sale. As you can see on the left, it's from the application or website. It's shipgratis.rs is their website, and it says male's shoes sterling. Action will last for 6 hours and 22 minutes more, so you need to be fast. They're making that urgent moment here. It's on stock, the green one, and it says the price was 10,121 dinar, and now it's 3,612, so it's like 3 times less now. And the first price was like a bit less than 100 euros, and the second price is around 30 euros. So they have huge discount, like the hugest one in the world. And then if you're not lazy, you go to AliExpress and type in men's sport shoes. Easy as that. And I found those shoes. It's 25 bucks. So they lied. They lied that something is on sale. It's not on sale. It's a regular price. And on that price, they have 50% margin, which is huge margin for any kind of trade. The second one is even worse. It's 10 times higher prices. I was looking to buy a watch, of course, and then Instagram and all others started to pile me up with ads with watches. And on the left, you can see the watch is 1,450 dinars, which is $15.6. And it says if you buy 2, you will have free shipping. So it's not free shipping if you order only 1. And then I was not lazy. I tried to find that brand on AliExpress, and of course I found it, and I found the same watch as the one they're selling, and the price is $1.34 with free shipping from China, not from Novi Sad or somewhere like 100 kilometers away from my hometown. This is free shipping from like 15,000 kilometers away. So what they're charging here? They're scamming you. Just pay shipping. Yeah, this is really cool one. They will tell you that this watch costs like 60, 70, 100 pounds, whatever. But they're so cool, they will give it to you for free, but you need to pay shipping. Shipping is sometimes around 25 to 30 pounds is what they charge for shipping, and they pay shipping 50 cents probably. And these watches are also cost like $2, $1.50, $2 or $3. So it's not just pay shipping. You actually paid everything multiplied by 10. And these guys are really serious scammers, like really, really serious. They won the game. They said that there is 70% off in their ad on Instagram. And then in the second one, they said it's up to 80% off. So is it 70% off or 80% off? Okay, let's believe it's 80% off. And the domain is elkflow.ml. It's Mali in Africa. And then when you click on some of these products, which is interesting, it takes you to another website, which is something online, something.online. And there is the watch. I was not lazy to check, and I checked, and there is that famous brand Sunta. The price is 55,000 dinars. It's around 490 euros. So it's expensive watch. It's hybrid. It's partially regular normal watch and partially it's connected on to your phone, so it does have some apps for it, etc., etc. But now there is a winning moment. The price is only 16 pounds and it was 551 pounds. So this price of 551 is actually something realistic. And they gave 97.1% of discount. So this is obvious scam. If you buy it, you will never get it. I mean, it's obvious. You're marketing and you market that watch at 70% discount. You say on your website it's 80%, but you're actually giving 97%. Well, every marketing team would market that something is 97% discounted. They will not use 70. So you know it's a scam, but they're not scamming me. They're not trying to scam me. They know I will figure out. They know that the most of you will figure out. But they're scamming our fathers, our mothers, our grandfathers and grandmothers. They're on social as well. And when they see something like this, they will order and they will lose 16 pounds. So it's not nice what they're doing. And don't do things like this, like free shipping, scamming people. Well, these serious scammers, you shouldn't be doing this because definitely you will end up in jail. But with previous 3 examples, they're 100% legit. No one can arrest you of doing something like in previous 3 examples, but it's scamming again. Don't be a scammer, be a nice person. Do not forget, people are buying from people they trust, and people tend to trust people similar to them. What does it actually mean? I will give you one example. Imagine I open a shop for fishing equipment. I don't know anything about fishing. I hate fishing. And I can do that, but I'm not passionate about it. I don't know what I'm selling. I don't know how to describe that. I don't know what are these products. What is the real value of those products? Why one product is better than the other one? So you need to know all of that. You need to be passionate about it. So if you're thinking to open the store, do something you love and you're passionate about. Of course, communicate with and treat your clients as you would like to be treated. Offer something new, if not new, at least a bit different. Think of the problem you're solving to a user and send them a handwritten thank you message. It's really easy when you're small, when you're not big enough to have like 10,000 sales per day. But while you have 10 or 15 or 20 per day, you can write a message by hand and send message to your buyers. It is nice, guest. Also this, choose a platform wisely. Where do you want to sell? You can sell on social networks, like to have only Facebook and Instagram shop. You can have your own website, and you can sell on Amazon or some of those retail websites, which will help you with sales. If you decide to have your own website, you need to pick which platform you want to use. WooCommerce, Magento, or Shopify. WooCommerce is the easiest one to set up and to start working, and it's the most flexible one when you start growing. Magento is really good one, but you need a bit more development skills for that one, and you need to hire some people to do it for you. And Shopify is mostly for drop shipping, so it's not that popular in the world of e-commerce for anything else except Shopify. Except dropshipping, sorry. Also this as well. Be yourself, be passionate about it, be the best shop ambassador, be loved, and be trustworthy. Okay, I'm Alexander Savkovic, aka WP Alex with KS on every social network. I'm WordPress community manager at Cloudways. So follow me for more recipes and enjoy the rest of the conference. I hope you enjoyed my presentation as well. Bye.
Welcome to Africa Digital Week 2021. My name is Abraham Abu. I am an author, entrepreneur, and a digital marketing enthusiast. Today, I'll be speaking to you on how to start an e-commerce business with minimal cost. E-commerce business has seen a boom recently due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Many buyers are now opting to buying their goods and services online rather than going physically to a brick and mortar store to acquire these services. And now suppliers are able to deliver their products across the globe to their customers to keep them happy. And e-commerce has truly been experiencing a surge in terms of patronage and business. So there is no better time for anyone who wants to get into the e-commerce business to begin than now. Also, as a result of the pandemic, many people have been out of employment. Statistics shows that over 225 million jobs were lost worldwide in 2020 alone. And more people are leaning towards online business for obvious reasons. To take us further in this short presentation, we would like to know what e-commerce stands for. E-commerce, also known as electronic commerce or internet commerce, refers to the buying and selling of goods or services using the internet and the transfer of money and data to execute these transactions. E-commerce is often used to refer to the sale of physical products online, but it can also describe any kind of commercial transaction that is facilitated through the internet. So having said that, all you need to facilitate an e-commerce business is the presence of a laptop or your phone, smartphone, and a reliable internet connection. So what are the various types of online businesses or e-commerce business that you can get involved in starting today with minimal cost? The first on the list, and which is going to be our focus for this presentation, is the drop shipping model. And we also have the print on demand or t-shirt business, which is also a part of the drop shipping model. You can also launch your book online as a product that you can sell and make money online to different parts of the world from the comfort of your computer. You can also create an online course, which is also referred to as an information product, and sell online. Like I said earlier, the dropshipping business model is what we are going to be focusing on in this presentation. So what is a dropshipping model? A dropshipping is a fulfillment model where a third-party supplier stores and ships inventory to customers on your behalf. It's one of the best businesses to start because of its low overhead, its hands-off and scalable approach makes it one of the easiest to start. Our focus in this course is on the drop shipping model, like I mentioned earlier. With the drop shipping model, you do not need to stock inventory. You do not need to even have any physical contact with the products that you sell. All you need to do is have a store, an online store, which could be in the form of a website. When you have an online store, you advertise your product online, the customer sees your product, buys your product, pays you for the product, then you in turn place an order for that product with the supplier of your choice. It is then you can now make payment to the supplier. So what it means is that you receive payment for the particular product, you mark up the product to the profit level depending on your business approach. It could be 2.5% on top of the actual cost, or 3 times the actual cost of the product. I mean, 2.5 times the actual cost of the product plus shipping, or 3 times the actual cost of the product plus shipping. Then when you place that product on sale, after you have sold that product, you pay the supplier the actual cost of the product and you keep the profit. So you don't need bulk money to start this business because you are being paid first before you now source the product and pay the supplier. All you have to do in advance is to list that product on your website. And I'm going to be telling you how you can source the product and how you can list the products on your website or on the platform that you will be selling the product on as we go along in this presentation. The other business or e-commerce business you can start is the print on demand. Like I said, it's also a form of drop shipping business. But in this business situation, you have to design or create your own design on a t-shirt, on a face cap, as the case may be, and have it advertised on an e-commerce platform or on your personal website for customers to see and place an order. It's the same like what we talked about in the dropshipping model. When the customer has placed an order, it is then you now pay the supplier that already has your design, your template, and we use that template to create the design on that t-shirt and deliver that t-shirt or face cap directly to your supplier globally. So this is another excellent kind of business to start with minimal cost. The cost you need is just for the design at this point in time to create that design. And you don't need to be a creative designer to start up this business. You can engage the services of Upwork or Fiverr when you go online and bid a price that they can design your design to you. You provide them with the template, the design, what you want or what you have in mind. They can help you create that design and send you back their pre-design so you can approve. And with as low as $5, you can find someone on Upwork or on Fiverr to help you create the design. So like I said, you don't need to stock t-shirts to have an inventory of t-shirts or to have an inventory of face caps. Neither do you need bulk money to start this business. All you need to do is to have a website or to subscribe to a platform where you can display your t-shirt design or face cap design and advertise it out there for customers to buy. Once they have purchased this product, that is when you place an order with the supplier that will now print these t-shirts or face cap and deliver directly to your customer. The next thing you can do is to launch your book. You can, yes, this is also known as print on demand publishing. In this model, you do not need the services of a publisher to publish your book. All you need to do is sit down, write your book, and then you can self-publish on platforms like Amazon Kindle, Blob, and many others. How does this work? If you have your manuscript ready, you sign up on Amazon, for instance, and you upload a copy of your manuscript based on the specifications that Amazon has given to you for either your Kindle edition or your paperback copies. All you do is once you meet up that specification, you upload your manuscript with your cover page and you begin to sell. Amazon will take a certain percentage of the price of that book. You price the book whatever amount you want to price it. Amazon will only take a specific amount from it and pay you back the rest into your account. So this is another way launching your book is another way to start an e-commerce business. A lot of people have begun to do this. I personally launched my book last year on Amazon. I launched it on Amazon without needing the services of any publisher. I did everything on my own, and it took me just hours to get my book live. After launching it on Amazon, it takes a couple of hours for Amazon to approve your book, and your book is now live on Amazon's site to sell. Same as Blob and many other platforms that you could sell your book on. The next thing is digital courses. If you have got a talent that can be turned into a digital product, think about packaging it into a stream of income. There are platforms like Teachable, Thinkific, and many others that you can host your digital product on. You can subscribe to these platforms and have your information product on their site, and you begin to sell across the world. Like the course presentation I'm making right now can be packaged as a digital course on Teachable or Thinkific, and I can sell it to across the globe for a fee. Unlike that of Amazon, Thinkific or Teachable, you can actually subscribe to a plan with them and have your product live there, and you're selling it to the world. And once you have created a product, you don't need to go back to create again. Once you have created an online product or an information product, it's there for you for as long as you want to have it there. It keeps selling for you. All you need to do, once in a while, you update it and you keep making money out of it. Now, after mentioning all of these ways you can, of various e-commerce kind of businesses that you can engage with minimal cost that you can actually start today, the next thing is to how do you choose a product to sell? What do you want to sell? So you need to choose a product to sell. So choosing the best product to sell is important in a dropshipping business. But before we now go into choosing the best product to sell, we need to first look at some niches to choose from. Niches are the areas you narrow down your product to. What area do you want to sell in? This helps you to now discover the product that you want to sell based on a niche basis. Some people prefer to sell general goods on their stores, but some people want to niche it down to a particular niche, which is what I recommend. You narrow down whatever you want to sell, be it a physical product, be it a service. You need to narrow it down to a niche. Some niches to consider for physical products on the drop shipping product model that I mentioned earlier. The bracelets, you can decide that you want to sell bracelet. Maybe you have love for jewelries, or you have the market for jewelries, you have the market for bracelets and stuff like that. You feel that, well, you can sell. But before you now decide that you want to sell a particular, or you want to be in a particular niche, you have to ask yourself specific questions. Is that niche, what is the problem that will be that niche will be, the product that we're selling in that niche will solve? Because people don't buy your product, they buy solutions. What solutions are you providing in that niche? That is one of the questions you need to ask yourself. And the other question you need to ask yourself is, that niche, is it a product that I can find, or your customers can find at the nearest store close to them? It has to be a product that for some reason cannot be found easily in popular stores. Like here in North America, we talk about Walmart, we talk about the Costco's, but in Africa, what are those favorite stores, or what are those stores or shops that are popular? These products should not be found easily in these stores. Or do you want to go into the shoe niches? You want to sell tennis shoes, you want to sell dress shoes, or stuff like that? You still need to ask yourself this question. Do you want to go into the clothing niche? What niche do you want? In the clothing niche, you need to narrow it down. Do you want to sell clothes for male, or you want to sell for female, or you want to sell for children, or you want to sell for babies? What aspect do you want to focus on? You need to ask yourself that question. And then the next thing is it the pet products niche you want to go into? You want to sell products for cats, for dogs, and so on and so forth, as popular here in North America. But of course, in Africa, I know you can also narrow it down to pet niches, like maybe dogs, as the case may be. So by the time you narrow it down to one of the niches that you want to sell in, then we'll move to the next aspect, which is the point of doing your research. You have to carry out a proper research on the niche you have decided to carry out your business in. What are some of the things that you need to research about? You need to research about your competitors. Who are your potential competitors? That is the market you'll be selling your product in. How are they selling? What platform do they advertise on? What are their price range? How do they reach out to their customers? Who are their ideal customers? You need to research all of these aspects in order to be successful in the niche. Where do they source their product from? What shipping method do they use? How long does it take them to ship their products? These are some of the questions you need to ask. Then, it is also very important to carry out what I call a business plan. Of course, some of these questions we had asked earlier will also be incorporated in your business plan, like your niche, the market, the product you want to sell, who you want to sell to, how you want to sell, how you want to reach your customers, what price range would you want to sell, what kind of business do you want to incorporate? Do you want an incorporation? Do you want to have a partnership business? Do you want to have a sole proprietorship business? All of these things have to be considered in your business plan. So what is a business plan? A business plan is a roadmap that helps bring your ideas and thoughts together. It is vital in determining what to prioritize and how to effectively reach new customers. It is a roadmap that guides you along the journey into your business. Before you start the business, while in the business, and after you have made your first sale, what to do next, when to scale that product, when to move to get more other products, and all of the basic decisions that you need to make in the course of your business is being captured in the business plan. How much do you need to invest in the business? For instance, we said this is a business plan that I'm talking about to start with a very minimal startup. So you need to consider how much is that, how much constitute a minimal startup for your kind of business or the niche you are delving into. What platforms are you going to engage in advertising your product? How much ad budget are you going to have? And things like that. What is your shipping preference? Do you want to use DHL? Do you want to use UPS? Questions like that. That would determine the number of days it takes to get to your customer. What is your unique selling proposition? All of these things have to be captured in your business plan. What brand are you looking at having? So after you have done all of that, we now move to one of the important aspects of your business, which is setting up your store. For every dropshipping business, you need to have an online store. Like I said, you do not need to have a brick and mortar store. You do not need to have a physical contact with your products, except when it comes to you trying to experience that product by trying to verify the quality of that product and maybe taking pictures that you want to put on your online store. You may need to order what we call samples of that product, which could be just one sample that will help you to fulfill this aspect that you talk about. So what do you really need to set up your online store? And this is what we're going to be looking at depending on the product that you are looking at setting up. But like I said, our products will have to be online. So the first thing you need to set up your online store is to name your business. Of course, when naming your business, you need to consider certain things like the kind of business you are going into, the brand you are going into, the niche you are going into. So when you name your business, you need to name it so that it can be relevant to the product that you'll be selling. When that happens, it is easier for people to identify your brand to that, to your name, to that product, or your brand to your name. So in order to do this, you have to research the names that you have come up with. So you come up with different names based on the categories I've just mentioned to you, the brand, the relevance to the product you'll be selling. And then you have to carry out a research to be sure that that name is available as a domain name. And also you can try to see also if that name is available to be used for social media purposes. For instance, to create a Facebook account, to create a Facebook page, to create your YouTube channel, your Instagram page, and all of that. So you can also find out if this name is available on all of these platforms. One of the free platforms you can check or you can confirm the availability of your name for a domain name is Namecheap. It is a free site that you can actually enter the name of the domain that you want to set up, or the name of the business that you have come up with, to confirm if the business or that name is available to be used. If it is available to be used, then you can actually go ahead and purchase that domain name for an average of 15 USD. So take note, that is the first cost that you'll be incurring for this business, for the dropshipping business, your domain name, which costs you about 15 USD for 1 year subscription. So you pay that domain name for 1 year, you pay $15 and you renew it after the expiration of that period. So that's the first expenses. Once you confirm that that name is available, voila, go ahead and purchase the domain name. Then the second thing, you need to create an identity, which is your logo. It is important when you have the domain name, you also have a logo. Your logo is what people will identify with your business. And you can create a logo for free by going to hatchful.shopify.com. You can create a logo for free. All you need to do is to fill out a basic information regarding the kind of business you do. And quite a number of sample logos will pop up for you to choose from, and for free. So you can actually create your logo for free. I created my logo for my business, my dropshipping business. I used hashful.shopify.com to create that logo, and it is amazing. It is amazing, and for free. Like I said, for free. You can Google this today, and when you're ready to start up to create your logo, go over there and create your logo for free. After creating your logo, the next question you ask yourself, what platform should I use in selling my products? And for the purpose of this presentation, I'll be talking more about Shopify because that's the one I have used to set up my own e-commerce business, which is my dropshipping business, and the one I'm currently using. And I'm using Shopify for various reasons because one, Shopify affords you a 14-day free trial period. So you can set up your online store for free and try and see how it works. For 14 days, if you feel you're no longer comfortable going ahead with the business, you can cancel it free of charge. So it gives you a 14-day free trial. You set up your business for that 14 days and you start advertising to see how you can make sales. And if you're not comfortable with it, you can close or you can cancel that subscription for free and close the business. Then two, it has free templates that you can actually use to set up your store. There are free templates to choose from. Wonderful and absolutely gorgeous templates you can set up with for free. Of course, there are other paid templates that you can set up with, but for a start, you do not need to start incurring that amount of money. Like, remember what the title of this presentation is, starting at a minimal cost. So we are starting lean. What that means is that we can avoid whatever cost that is avoidable. So we will go ahead and use the free template to set up your store. Then, after the expiration of your 14-day free trial, there is also a basic plan with Shopify that costs only $29 USD. And that is for 1 month. So after the expiration of your free trial, you can subscribe to the basic plan. The basic plan has all the features that you need to start making sales and to make concrete sales. It is after you have begun to make huge and making very volumes of sales that you may want to switch over to another platform, because the other platforms have, like the Shopify Plus and the rest, they have more functions or functionality than the basic platform. Another platform you can consider is Etsy. You can also consider to sell on eBay, or you can consider to sell on your own website. You host your product on your own website. But like I said, for the purpose of this presentation, we are considering Shopify, and that's the information that you need to start selling on Shopify. So some of the features also is that with Shopify, you can actually make and receive payment, in over 175 countries. So Shopify has merchants in over 175 countries, meaning that payments can be received from clients or from customers in over 175 countries. And there are over 20 languages supported on the Shopify platform. And the most important thing is that it is easy to build. You do not need to have special skills to build your store on Shopify. But for those who may find it difficult to build their store on Shopify, you may engage the help of someone who is a professional, or you can go onto Fiverr or Upwork, like I mentioned earlier, find someone there for less and have them build your store for you. Or you get a web designer or a friend who is good at web designs to build your store for you. Now, prepare to launch your store. After you have decided that you want to sell on Shopify, you have built your website. The next thing is you need to upload, or you need to download or integrate certain apps to your store that will help your store to function and to upload or to search products, fulfill search product, upload, import products, and fulfill those products. And one of the apps that is also owned by Shopify that helps you to fulfill, to search for products, import those products to your store, and also fulfill those products is Obelo. You can download the Obelo app directly from your Shopify store app, from your Shopify platform to your store. Once you integrate it, all you need to do is to go on Obelo, begin to search for the products you want to sell through AliExpress. AliExpress is a platform in China where different sellers come together, display their products. You buy your products from them, and they will deliver it directly to your customers. So you can use Obelo, integrate Obelo to your Shopify store, and use Obelo to fulfill orders. When I mean fulfill orders, I mean that you search for orders on the AliExpress, you import them to your store, you display them to your store, do the description and everything, do your pricing, and when you have advertised the product and a customer has purchased a product from your store, all you need to do is to make payment directly to AliExpress. You go to Obelo to fulfill that order. By fulfilling the order, you make payment to AliExpress directly from your platform and through Obelo. And once that is done, what happens next? Once the payment is made, you get notified that the payment has been received. Once the item is being shipped, you receive a notification by email that your item is on the way to the supplier. You don't have to touch the product. You don't have to see the product. The seller in AliExpress or on AliExpress ships the product directly to your customer, sends you the tracking code, depending on the shipment method that you are using, if it's a trackable shipment. And for drop shipping, it's always important that you use a trackable method, because you need to know where the products are at every point. Just in case the customer reaches out to you and says, I haven't seen my product, you are able to track it and tell them where the product is. And by the way, once that is done, you also receive the tracking information, and your supplier through that fulfillment method or through Obelo, your supplier also gets the same information, telling your customer that the order has been shipped, with the tracking number being made available also to the customer, for the customer to begin to track the order. And of course, it may take a few hours or days for the order to be seen online, but your customer has the same information as you have. The difference is that the information that Obelo sends to your customer reflects that represents that the information is coming directly from your company, not from the third-party AliExpress customer seller. So that makes it easy for you to continue. So with this, Obelo helps you a great ton for you to research products, for you to import the products to your store and for you to fulfill the orders. The next thing you also need to do is to set up your shipping. Determining your shipping is very important because there are different rates that applies to different routes, that apply to different countries, that apply to different, that is being done by different shipping companies. One of the things you also need to consider will be that what they consider is the weight of the product you sell. Some shipping companies may ship faster than the others, so you have to, all depends on your business plan and depends on your priority. You now decide to choose the shipping platform that you want. In most cases, what dropshipping businesses do is to incorporate the shipping cost into the cost of the item and multiply it by 2.5 or by 3 in order to be profitable, and now decide to offer what we call free shipping. But in actual sense, the customer bears the shipping cost because the shipping cost is already incorporated into the cost of the item. So that's another way you can do it. You can say free shipping, but the actual cost of shipping is already incorporated in the cost of the product. So when you do this, at the point of payment, the customer sees free shipping, doesn't need to pay additionally for shipping. So you just choose the shipping route, shipping rate, model, and or shipping company, and send it directly to the customer without the customer getting to pay for shipping again. Then another very important or vital aspect of the dropshipping business is making sure that your business is seen by your potential customers or by your customers. Remember, if you have any product, no matter how good the product is, no matter how well the product is being said or the online store is being said, if the product is not seen by the customer, then the product will not be making sales. So how do you market your store? That's what we'll be talking about now. So we are going to be considering some advertising options in order to reach our customers. One of the platforms we are considering in this presentation is Facebook ads. Another option is the Instagram page where you can advertise on Instagram, or you want to use the Google shopping ads or Google display ads or Google search ads. And finally, you can also use influencer marketing to market your products. A lot of drop shippers use Facebook ads for obvious reasons, because on Facebook ads, you can actually target your ideal client that you want to sell to. You can target your ideal customers. For instance, if you're selling bracelets, you want to target certain people that maybe people within certain age that uses bracelets or necklaces and all of that. You want to target them. You want to target the city they are based in. You want to target the country that you have the privilege of targeting, the country that you are selling to, the city, the age bracket. Are they male? Are they female? How are are they employed? Where do they work? Things like that is possible to do on Facebook. Or maybe you want to use Instagram, then you can actually do your post on Instagram and also market on Instagram. You may want to advertise on Google Shopping. Google Shopping happens to be one of the most used and most profitable advertising platforms on Google. I personally use Google Shopping to advertise my products, and it is very easy to set up and you can scale it up. In Google Shopping, what you use in most cases is what we call the keywords and all of that. When you set up your Google campaign or you set up your campaign on Google, you determine how much you want to spend. You determine how much you want to send. You lift your product, or you first of all upload your product in what we call on Google merchant feed that Google can pick the product from. So you set up your merchant feed account. You set up your Google Analytics account to enable you know what is going on in terms of your sales, where are your customers coming from and all of that. Then once you set up all of this, you can now have your product listed on Google, and Google, you bid on the price that you want to bid on your keyword or on your search terms, on all of that, and you put in your advert, goes live, and your product starts selling. Or you want to do display ads that appears on other Google sister platforms like YouTube, like Gmail, as the case may be. So when people are actually searching or using any of those platforms, depending on their interest, your ad pops up before them. Or you want to use the search ads, where when customers search a particular item, and if that's part of the item you're selling, depending on depending on your score, your item pops up. Or is it influencer marketing you want to use? You can get an influencers, discuss with them, get them to agree to want to work with you. They can actually take pictures or videos of themselves using your product and place it in their place it before their followers. Usually influencers have millions or thousands of followers, and they may want to place your product there, and you get sales directly from that platform. So all you do is agree with them. You agree on how much you're going to pay them. Then they will display your products on their pages and all of that, and you begin to make sales. So the beauty of all of this is that when you use these platforms, you are able to reach your customers quickly and begin to make sales quickly. There's what we call SEO, search engine optimization, on your website. When your website is fully optimized or your product page is optimized, sometimes you get what we call organic searches results. People who just search, people find your pages organically, which is also another good way. But initially, you need to advertise your product in order to drive the traffic and create that awareness about your product to your store. Thank you very much for listening to this presentation. I hope with this presentation, you now know what e-commerce business is, you know what the dropshipping model is, you know how to choose a niche, you know how to set up your store, and how to begin to sell online. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best in your e-commerce business. Thank you, and bye for now.